Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Giuseppe Montesano, Twine to Twingle, Mitch Kennedy, Original D-Rose, Rod the Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKiernan, Retro Bill, More Books, Cannabear, Bogey, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Maria Nealand, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
You're gonna let us in?
You're all in. You all missed the show?
Get my headphones on. Shut my freaking phone off, and it costs $600 to turn back on because they merged with another company that charges you in advance.
I'm sorry to hear that, Neil.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you the whole time.
Yeah, the phone company we were with merged with another company, and this other company charges you a month in advance. So instead of my bill being $300, it's $600.
I think you're supposed to say my weekend was really great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the general opening chit chat that Righteous was sort of fishing for there, Neil. But
How was
obviously,
your
I'm sorry to
freaking
hear your
weekend?
phone. Go ahead, Neil.
How was your weekend, Righteous?
It was very good, Neil. Thank you for asking.
Okay, now we're done with the pleasantries. Can I bitch and moan?
You can, but bear in mind, I've hopefully just resolved an 8-month, maybe 9-month problem. So I'm quite keen to, chat about that for the final time. There's still one little niggle I need to sort out, but you go ahead, Neil.
No, God, I'm letting you know. I need to hear this show, so I don't care if it was $1,000. If I had it, I'm paying it. Show must go on. Now let's hear what happened, Nathan.
Well, they've got a guardian angel who's pumped probably the best part of £1,000 into this computer to resolve all of its issues. So it's had a new graphics card. It's had, albeit exactly the same, but a new set of identical RAM, but half the capacity, so 2 sticks instead of 4 of the same brand and type and speed RAM. What else did it had? A ton of work, like a whole week's worth of work from a guy in a computer shop who ended up just charging an hour for a day's worth of work each time he did work on it. So it was pretty difficult for him to justify not charging anything, which I can totally understand. He's running a shop and doing me a favour as a mate. As much as he kind of hinted, oh, no, there's no rush to sort any bills out, which to me says there's got to be a bill for this, week's worth of work. He was there one day. He was intending to finish up the one day and have a couple of days off to do things and go to a stag do and a wedding and various other things in the week. So he wanted to get wrapped up and, finish off all of his customers. But I'm there, taking up all his time. So whilst messing around with my computer throughout the whole day, when he got to closing time, he stayed there till like 7 or 8 o'clock doing a BIOS update on it. So, he still spent several hours after he'd closed the shop at 5 to get it, functionally in order to the point where he could do the upgrades to it. Because it fell over, as you know, it stopped working completely. But that's now been resolved, so it seems. I mean, there was a step missed when we put the graphics card in, just because when you're trying to fix something that's not working, steps get missed on the upgrade. So there was a couple of thermal pads, nothing major, but a couple of thermal pads got missed out that are stopping it being connected fully to the block. the chip is, but the parts of the card could be connected to the block where they're not. So that he said he'll come over in the week and just chuck them on, which is fairly easy to do. But other than that, when I got it back and tested it, the means that I've been using to encode the show, which is the integrated graphics, which was the most efficient, I generated the least heat. I've retired that. So I did try and get it working, but it fell over after about 3 or 4 hours, maybe a bit less, when I was testing it. And I was like, well, I've got an alternative now in the form of this graphics card, where before I wouldn't use it because it would overheat. Not overheat, but, it would use a lot of power to encode the stream. Therefore, I didn't want to use it. Now, I did use it for the last 3 shows, and that's probably what killed the graphics card, because it was just boiling its nuts off. It's just really hot, and then it eventually failed, shockingly, which is why I didn't want to use it. Now, this graphics card is smaller and far more efficient and far lower power, and can do it simply because it doesn't cook itself when it is being utilized. So excellent. I've just retired the former way of encoding the show, which was the CPU's integrated graphics. Now that's not being used. I've turned it off, and the GPU itself is being used to encode the show, and it doesn't cook the room, me, or the computer when it does so. So that's good. But it's a bit of an unknown entity, so I've never used it before. It's a totally different style of encoder. So I have tested it. I've spent all weekend non-stop, morning till the moment I go to sleep, testing and streaming and testing and streaming. Now, the difference between this type of, you should probably hear in my tone, the difference between this type of testing and streaming is that it's not falling over after testing, streaming, working, and then it falls over after you've spent an entire half a day, and then you do the whole thing again, only for it to fall over moments before you're due to go to bed. In this instance, since the computer's come back, with the exception of a hotspot on the GPU, which will get resolved, everything's working. Like, as it should work. It's a really nice computer. It's lovely to use. So when I set up today, my wife was a little bit late finishing work, which meant that I started at what should be my regular start time is 1:20. Right, so I've got 40 minutes, which should be more than ample to get the show set up and have a bit of a chit-chat in the pre-show like we're doing now, right? Still got 20 minutes before the live show starts. In other words, I have set this computer up in record time without a single hitch. It's just glorious.
Yeah, but the only thing is, we've been down this road before. Is it different this time?
Yeah, the difference is it's not falling over. There's a big difference between testing something and sitting there going, oh my God, is it going to fall over? It's so freaking hot. Oh no, come on, 87, 86, 89, oh God. Doing that for 2 straight hours on the edge of your seat, stressed to the nines, is very different to, I'll run this stress test. Oh, it seems to be working fine. Oh, I think I'll leave it to it. I'll go make a cup of tea. I'll come back in 10 and see how it's doing. Come back in 10. It's doing the same as when I left it. It's not falling over. It's not overheating. It's testing the way it should be done. So then you go, well, okay, great. I'll move on to the next thing then. So then you do. And then at the end of the process, it's very unfamiliar for me, because I've been doing it for 8 straight months with this computer, where you go, I've finished. Now, there is issues. Now, the issues are that Windows has crashed so many times during the process of upgrading it to get it working again, that parts of it have become corrupted. Specifically, my kid's game, which he's furious about. I can't get Minecraft or Xbox software to work, which is just one of those things. Fortunately, everything about the show is working, so second fiddle is my kid's game. No offence to her. She can't play Minecraft. Oh well. I mean, we'll figure that out eventually, I'm sure. But that's undoubtedly because the system's been crashed so many times. To get it back up on its feet, constantly blue screening isn't going to help Windows. Anyway, now that is something else on the list to resolve. Software is a constant issue with anybody that's got a computer, especially with Windows. That is just a constant ongoing saga that you'll have to deal with being a computer owner. Whereas for me now, the operation of the hardware is working as I would expect. Even if I didn't put the thermal pads on, that it would still survive probably for 3 or 4 years, less than it should. But, it will still plod along quite happily for the foreseeable future. Now I know, because I've tested it all weekend, like literally probably 20 hours of testing since I got it back. And in between, I've gone back into the shop. So I can't remember what it was, but something went wrong that required a complete rewire, which I've now done. But now it's back and it's great. I'm very, very happy.
So we're good to go.
Yeah, certainly seems that way. Like I say, one little tweak to the graphics card, two little thermal pads just to fill a little air gap between the block and the physical PCB, not the chip. The chip is fine and is cool and is super efficient. So I'm at this point normally in the show, I know I'm rambling on a lot about this, but this will probably be, hopefully, then you'll never hear about this again because who cares, right? But normally at this point in the show, 10 minutes into recording, I would be sweat pouring off me. I would be so hot. I'm saying now, I'm cool. You know, I'm feeling relaxed. I'm not hot, even though we've been recording for 12 minutes. About the point that I'd start feeling it, like really feeling it. Right? I'm very happy. I couldn't be more chuffed.
Good to hear. Good to hear, Nathan. What is today's show number, by the
23. What was it? 1923?
1923. Okay, I sent you your review video, the one that we Kiwi and everybody wanted you to do.
Okay. I mean, I will caveat that statement that I'm really pleased and it's tested perfectly, where Neil says, and rightly so, well, I've been down this road before. Yeah, we have, but I've always been like, yeah, I've been testing it all weekend. I've done a thorough job. I've spent so many hours on it, but it might still fall over. You don't hear me saying that because I'm not presuming it will. However, it is still technically the Beast 2.0 now. It is, strictly speaking, still a new computer in that regard. 50% of the components have been changed. So, yeah, it's still early days. It still might have some issues that I haven't found yet. But given I've spent so many hours over the weekend really thoroughly testing, because I know how to, and, you know, I think I've crossed every T and dotted every I in that regard. Doesn't mean I have, though. So don't suddenly be all doom and despair if something does go wrong. That's just the nature of it sometimes when you've got new components. But no more than anybody else, I don't think it's going to be because this is suddenly the same unreliable computer we all know and love or hate.
So, in summary, say this is good to go and very few things need to be changed. How would you summarize why the original configuration didn't work versus this one? What's the main culprit that you figured out after all that?
A ton of things. Everything about the configuration of the original spec was wrong. The graphics card was too powerful for the computer, so it was an overclocked, overspec'd, one range up. They said when they gave it me, look, great, we've given you a higher tier graphics card, an overclocked version of a higher tier graphics card with extra heat. You know, okay. Now it's in the middle of a graphics card shortage, so maybe that's all they could get their hands on, because there was a graphics card shortage on. Okay, so I got a slightly better graphics card. Well, disaster, because no, the cooler can't cope with it, so I had to fiddle with the voltages, and that was the first problem. Second problem was the same, but for the CPU, it was double the capacity in terms of power. It's capable of pulling 350 watts. It's on a 150 watt cooler, so that's a problem. And the builder, the person who physically built it, the retailer, if you will, of the machine, did not build it correctly. So they fitted 4 of my large 6 terabyte hard drives to it, and they fouled the motherboard. Now, rather than resolving the problem, they just shipped it. Well, it's taken a long time to figure that out, and to eventually resolve it, I've completely rewired that whole section of the computer over the last week. So I moved all of the hard drives forward 3 millimeters, which is all it was, enough to stop the cooler being connected, and rewired all of the SATA cables and power cables so they were completely out of the way. And then the motherboard sat literally on top of the SATA cables. That's how tight the tolerances were. But it cleared them in the end. Same with all the cables that came out of the motherboard pointing towards the coolers. I rewired all of it out towards the edges instead of between the cooler and the board, so nothing was touching the board. Then Craig came up with the ingenious idea after, that was why it went back in between. So after getting it back all fitted and done and technically finished, I got it back and it started crashing. Well, I took it back in and said, look, I know why. I can see that it's not quite sat on the cooler correctly. So he just went to a hardware store, bought 8 washers, and that put an extra bit of tension on the springs that hold the board to the cooler so that it was rigid, and it hasn't crashed since because it's so rigid to the cooler now. So, you know, it needed somebody with a bit of ingenuity to say, okay, well, the way they've designed it isn't quite sturdy enough to hold the very heavy motherboard with all the stuff populated on it. So it needs some washers to increase the tension on the spring, as Craig did. That was the fix. 4 washers was what stopped this computer working for 8 months. If you want to boil it down to the real issue, there was never enough pressure on the chip, the CPU chip, which controls everything. And the graphics card was overpowered and overheating everything. So it was pushing the cooler, which wasn't quite connected to the chip, to its limits when it wasn't quite connected because the graphics card was cooking the case so much. So it was a long string of issues. Last but not least was the memory. It took 4 sticks on the board, so they spec'd it with 4 sticks. Well, it couldn't do 4 sticks. The memory controller wasn't strong enough on this first generation of chip to control 4 sticks. Further to that, to get the 4 sticks working at all on the memory controller that was weak, they needed more voltage to work. Well, they're really closely populated together on a weak controller with more voltage in a really hot case. So the memory was also a problem, constantly hitting ATC, its maximum. So every component inside the original specification was wrong. Too many DIMMs of memory. Chip not attached. Chip too powerful. Motherboard too large, too populated, too much stuff fouling it. GPU too hot, too powerful. Other than that, it was great.
Wow. What a journey.
But now, half the capacity of RAM, 32 gig instead of 64. Same exact RAM, just 2 sticks instead of 4. Now the memory controller is easily capable of not only running the 2 sticks, but running them at their rated speed. So they're now running at 6,000, their rated speed, without a single issue. Okay, problem 1 solved. Problem 2, a rewire, a complete stripping by me of the computer, their hard drives, and all of the power cables, and then rerouting it everywhere, essentially building that part of the computer from scratch. So once that's done and everything was zip-tied out of the way, and we could test fit it so it definitely sat flush, we then wired it up, put it back on, with 4 washers, to mean that it is definitely connected to the cooler and it can actually do its job now. Now it could do 150 watts. I have left it at 133 watts. Why? Well, because I got it to work that way with the cooler not attached properly. So therefore, if anything happens, it will just, plod along with minor issues until I can resolve the problem, rather than it immediately falling off because my kid's knocked into it and it happens to have jolted the case, and it's structurally integral to the bit that attaches the bloody board to it, so that can knock it off the cooler, as stupid as that sounds. So that problem's now resolved because there's nothing fouling it, there's no cables in the way, everything's clear of the motherboard, it is attached correctly, very, very rigid. So that's problem 2 solved. Hopefully it won't need a new chip because it's damaged it over the 8 months where it's not been attached properly, but we'll have to see in that regard. The GPU has been down-spec'd in terms of the amount of power it draws, what it is, what it's capable of is actually slightly superior, although I'm gobbling up all of that superiority in the encoding, which is now being done by that component rather than the component on the CPU. Now, that trifecta of RAM, CPU not attached, and GPU being overpowered has all been resolved, meaning that now it's normal. It's a normal computer, as it should have been from day one. Only took an extra grand on top of an already £5,000 computer to get it to function as it should have done from day one. But there we go. Fortunately, people love the show and are willing to go, I'm going to give you this money to resolve this. Go and, here, I will chuck money at the problem. You go fix it. That's what's happened. Somebody has done that. Now, they don't want mentioning, presumably because they don't want more e-beggars like me on their case. You know what I mean? But that person is yet another in a long string. He's not one of not millionaires, not super rich people just out there doing their job, earning money, doing their thing, and have gone, I want to give a chunk of that to you to resolve this problem. So same with the computer in the first instance, someone coming along that's just another normal person, not a millionaire who's got £5 to chuck at a computer, just a normal person that's decided they want to support the show in that way. And they have. You know,
That's a testament to the show.
it is a testament to the show and a testament to why I've continued the long string of 8 months or 9 months of sleepless nights in the process of resolving this over the last week. So it's been up every morning, going into the computer shop at opening time, staying as long as my parking can permit with me jogging it around, dodging parking wardens because it's right in the middle of my town centre. And then, ducking out for maybe an hour to get some lunch, coming back in, doing it all again till closing time for day after day after day after day, with him doing the same, my computer guy, Craig. Now, don't get me wrong, he didn't glue himself to it for the entire time, but it was there in his presence with him looking at it the entire time. You know what I mean? While he's doing his other work. So he's just had me on his case and he's still got to come back. But with a lot of man hours put into it, it's now excellent. Or I hope it will be. I don't see any reason why it should crash between now and the next 5 minutes. I'll start the live stream now, literally now. I'll just double check that it won't actually start the live stream going out to the audience before I do. But this would be normally the point when I press this magic button where everything would fall over. Now, having tested it all weekend, I simply don't think that will be the case. No. So yeah, I'm start the live stream. We'll give it 25 seconds. We'll be connected to YouTube. Oh no! Live stream's not available. Okay, well that's probably with YouTube that I have to sort out.
You had me on the edge of my seat there.
Knew it was too good to be true.
No,
No.
you're gonna have
There's
to
a
just go through it.
YouTube end. There's a problem at the YouTube end. It's okay. I can resolve that. I now have. Okay. So we're connected. So now let's just have a look at the temps. Look at the temps. They're all normal. All the temperatures. Everything's in the 50s and 40s.
Nice.
Right. Normally it would be hitting 107 at this point.
Wow.
Right. It's just
That's
absolutely
crazy.
absurd, right? Don't get me wrong, it's going to cook over the next 20 minutes. It'll probably hit 50 or 60 or 70 even. But it's not going to hit 100, I can tell already. You know what I mean? Oh.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's awesome.
Excellent. Anyway, we're not actually live. I'm just telling you what I'm doing functionally while Neil thinks it's just pressing buttons. I'm, connecting, monitoring, and doing all the things that you don't need to know about.
Remember, that's my role. That's my role about pressing buttons. Don't give that to Neil.
Oh, you got me nervous. I thought it was dead again.
Now you
it
can
just
toy
said-
with us and just get us going.
It's just a YouTube front end problem. Don't worry about that. But yes, I can understand why that would be stressful for a moment. Me going, oh no, because it's all
That's
crashed.
what got.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you had me sweating.
So we're good to go. We're up and running.
Yeah, we're good to go. We'll see what
Just-
happens.
That's
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying the bulk of it, the majority is all testing great and you have confidence, but something needs a little attention will come up, but it won't be like what it was in the past.
well, like that. So I connect via OBS. It's had a whole bunch of crashes in between the last time it's done that. Well, that's not true, actually. I tested it over the weekend. But nevertheless, I've tested it and I know that's not an issue. So when it says, oh, there's a problem, all I did was click refresh and it resolved the problem. So, it's not a big deal. But, little niggles like that are going to happen. And there might be hardware niggles. I've already come across one, but that's why you test stuff, to find the little niggles. It's just the niggle I found over the 8 months prior was unresolvable without a hardware change. A fundamental change to the equipment was what would resolve that problem and has.
I think that's pretty racist.
He said niggle.
Niggle. I was like,
Niggle.
whoa, what the
I think that
heck?
was- why would I be using a
Not
derogatory
racist.
term for a black person in the middle of that? I don't get it, Neil. There's no context
I
for me
didn't
to
say
say
black
nigger in
person.
that. None. It made no sense for you to even assume.
Mine was the
Neil-
GGAH.
Neil just wants to niggle and dime you right now. Don't worry about it.
I knew it.
Any evidence of a physical, geometric sphere edge that's a horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
There's never been a sighting of that curve of the earth ever.
Well, they say it's the horizon, eh?
Yeah, but when I had a boat and I was in the ocean, it was always horizontal. Obviously, part of the word horizon is in horizontal. So why wasn't it called curvatontal?
Yeah, it seems absurd when we look at it now that something which you can use a tool to establish horizontal to measure an angle as depicted on screen right now could be inferred to be the leading edge of a geometric sphere edge falling away from your position and the demarcation point for where it blocks things into the distance when you're actually utilizing it to establish level. Seems absurd,
But
right?
yeah, it does. But think about how easy it is to pre-assume you live on a ball, let alone all the other things they say, like spinning and all this stuff. But let's just say, just the presupposition that you live on the ball, and they use a flat horizon to say, well, everything past that is dropping over. When the black swan, based on their math, says it's got to be at 1.22 miles at a 1 foot observer height. I mean, come on. Why are people still not getting it?
Hello,
Okay.
guys.
Hello, Arwen. Good
Welcome
to
back,
have you.
Nathan.
Yeah, I want to ask everybody. There's loads of members and mods and all sorts of good folk that are always around right at the beginning of these shows. Please smash the share button. I know that you may do it regularly, but this more than ever needs to be shared out because there's been a gap
I
between
certainly
last.
shared the show on my live show,
Oh,
as in
thank
like,
you.
yeah, he's going live. So
Well, yeah, you need to get the momentum.
People were waiting.
Yeah, exactly. You need to get the momentum back up if you've had a big gap, which is precisely what has happened. So, yeah, 30 odd people in the live stream currently. If you can share the show right away, right at the beginning, it'd be great to get it up to 100 people straight away. That'd be wonderful. Let's do a bit more housekeeping. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
What's that?
No.
Okay. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
How can a
It's
flat,
over there. 3
Distance.
AUs.
AU's
how
is
can a
it?
flat?
Go on, Neil. Go
Go
on.
ahead.
No, you go.
I want to know how a flat plane could be axial rotating. We're on a flat plane. We're not on a ball.
Axial rotation, as in rotating about an axis.
Yeah, we would have to be a spinning water ball for that to happen, right? We're
Yeah.
on a flat Earth. Did you just say that?
Yeah, we're measuring it flat, and you can make derivations of that flat Earth measurement to give you some sphere Earth assumptions that obviously violate the measurements of it flat, like on screen now, when you're taking elevation angle measurements to 3 stars, and there's 90-degree at the base of each of them, then you're obviously utilizing that flat Earth measurement of an angle, an elevation angle, to derive things like R values, to infer sphericity for a sphere Earth, and therefore orbital motions for Earth to be falling around the sun, and all those sorts of nonsensical notions, Neil. But yes, Earth is measured flat.
Well, coincidentally, that last question you asked is basically the review video for today that Brian's Logic wanted us to do for a couple of weeks, and QE's also wanting to hear, measuring the distance to the sun.
Okay. Well, what we will cover before we get onto that video, which you have shown me, and I know who's made it, I don't know what the video is to ask one more question. Any evidence you can have gas pressure, that's the air that we're all breathing, for example, without a container?
One of the most
Pressurized.
simplest questions from the Flat Earth Debate Show. Everyone knows how to answer this one, and yet there's this glazed look in their eyes whenever I ask people that question, because the ramifications of it means everything, right? It's cog dis at its best.
You know, a Flat Earth show yesterday, Triggered Limey was trying to claim that there's a difference between pressurized gas and gas pressure. I don't see a difference. It's the same
You know who
darn
else
thing.
did that? Conspiracy Cats did that too. So Tommy, do you remember Tommy? He's a boxer. Now,
Sure.
Yeah.
I am gonna stereotype boxers to give an example of where Tommy is not like that. So Tommy's, do you remember Devil's Advocate when Al Pacino describes himself as being the hand up Mona Lisa's skirt? He's a surprise, right? Tommy's a bit like that. In many different respects. I don't know about his boxing prowess. I think I've seen one fight he had, really early fight, where he just knocked someone out with one punch. It was really amusing. But I don't know about his boxing prowess, but because he introduces himself as a boxer or, aspiring boxer, you immediately have a stereotype about what he's going to be and how he's going to be, right? Now, I say this without causing an offence to boxers. They're having their heads smacked in quite a lot, right? So therefore, that might lead you to have certain assumptions about them. Let's just put it that way, right? Well, no. Tommy, the boxer, had a teacher, Conspiracy Cats, absolutely over a barrel simply by asking him about how you can have gas pressure without a container. And one of Conspiracy Cat's responses was to say, well, there's a difference between pressurized gas and gas pressure. So what? Gas that's been put under pressure versus gas that is under pressure. There's a difference, is there? No, there's not. They're exactly the same thing. Gas at pressure and pressurized gas, they're the same thing. Yeah? Like being submerged versus being underwater. They're very different things. Anyway. Okay, any more comments on this? Before we go on
But
to the
didn't
video?
wasn't Conspiracy Cats the guy that said without containment there could be no pressure?
Yeah, when giving
Isn't
an
that the
example.
same guy?
Yeah, exactly. So he's got a balloon and he's giving an example of what actually it is to be at pressure. And it's the force exerted on the walls of the containment by the gases. That's what pressure is. So without the container, there can be no pressure. Anyway, let's move on. The reason I wanted that to be covered is because we're covering a Red's Rhetoric video today. So as always, share the algorithmic love with Reds. Let him know by way of algorithmic love from you and me to him, saying at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. We responded to your wonderful video. As always, try and keep it nice and clean, nice and polite, so that you don't end up getting your comment removed. But you can probably see, if you glance your way in the way of the live chat, if you are actually watching this live as we speak, that there is a link. So go and check out Red's Rhetoric's video. Leave him a comment that says at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And the idea would be, although typically this idea is postulated towards the higher echelons of the YouTube fraternity, this was also true for Red's Rhetoric if you're watching it after the fact. Which is to say, his link is in the chat, and I would hope that you would go and help him in the algorithm by leaving him a comment. In the vain hope that he'd do the same for me. Leave my link in his video were he to respond. So there you go. Go and leave some love for Reds. 10th, this is your choice of video. Maybe you can tell us why we've actually why we've got this.
It's actually Brian's choice. He had requested it a couple of weeks ago, and Huey got a wind of it and wanted it as well, I believe. He's going to cover it this week, maybe, I think. So since your computer problems are behind you, it's time for us to do it.
Okay, let's get into it then.
If you're on the Flat Earth debate side of Twitter, you may have seen a common Flat Earth claim that the sun is small, local, and definitely not 93 million miles away.
Okay, let's just start by taking an unusual stance, which is to say that I'm going to side with Reds. Now, if you are, I'm going to take his word for it in the Twitter sphere or whatever you call it, and you're out there claiming that the sun is local, then you're presumably in a position to come here and let us know how and why you claim that. That would be interesting to know, because of one of our housekeeping questions that we've been asking for years. So if you know that it's local, I mean, that's fascinating. I would also be intrigued by how they come to that assertion, Reds. So good on you for calling them. I would call them on that too.
And because these claims are everywhere, I decided to respond. So on September 22nd, 2022, I tackled the small and local part of that claim. I did this by tracking the sun all day long with a Nikon P1000. And of course, I was
Hold on. To discredit it being local, which hasn't been proved, I mean, straight away, you did so well initially, Reds. So what you're saying is they, flat earthers who you have identified with examples that you have cited, say it's local. Well, that's their burden, isn't it, Reds? But it seems you've fallen victim to a fallacy. So you are now exercising your right to go through with the burden of proof reversal fallacy that you've fallen victim to. You don't need to disprove a positive claim that they have a local sun they can measure. Just tell them to give you the measurements and laugh at them if they don't. What are you doing? Are you suggesting that by way of, hold on a second, is this going to turn into a false dichotomy where they say they can measure it, but I can film it with a camera? Yeah, that's not measuring it, Reds. Did you think that filming it with a little filter on your camera was a measurement? Do you not know what... Did you think this was a tape measure? This is called a camera. You don't seem to understand the difference between something that measures and something that takes pictures. Is it just me? Does he not know the difference between a measuring device and a camera?
using a solar filter during the observation. In short, my
Observation, that's right, not measurement.
My observations showed that the angular size of the sun does
Sorry, angular size. So, thank you very much for the super chat. Just before I point out what angular size means. To Kostura? Have I said that right? Kotsura. Arwin. How would you say that? I don't know. I would say, Arwin, you there? No, clearly not. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says, good show. Well, I appreciate it. It's been mostly me talking. So, I mean, what can I do? Great. Thank you for the compliment. Really appreciate all the support. Please smash the share button as well as the super chat. Just as important. Where are we at in terms of that? 70 people watching. Obviously, my call to action at the beginning of the show, people have taken heed as we're edging our way up to the 100 viewers I'm hoping for on this first day back after a long break. Okie dokie, let's get back on with it. Oh yeah, angular size, you say? So that would be the not actual size measurements then. Oh, I see. This isn't going to give you anything in terms of the size or distance, so is it? This is angular size, not actual size.
does not change throughout the day.
Yeah, let's hear that in full. Oh dear.
Using a solar filter during the observation. In short, my observations showed that the angular size of the sun does not change throughout the day.
So the not actual size of the sun does not change in not actual size throughout the day. That's profound, Reds. You stupid numpty.
And this is a direct contradiction to the claim of a small and local sun.
Sorry,
Nathan,
how does it contradict a claim they haven't proven by burden of proof reversal fallacy you've fallen victim to? But furthermore, how does it prove your side of the false dichotomy you've now set up when your side has the not actual size of the sun not changing in not actual size as it moves from its, not actual position? Go on, Tenth.
yeah, two things. One, reminder, Godzilla gifted 5 memberships. I think you missed that. Someone just put that up in Master D. Just to give them
Credit where credit's due, indeed. Thank you very much indeed for gifting out those memberships. Thank you very much for the support. Enjoy the videos. There's a couple of members-only videos that haven't been published yet for obviously members only. So check those out if you've just been gifted a membership by Godzilla. And obviously thank you to Godzilla for gifting them.
Okay, second is what is he trying to say here about the sun and going away, not changing in size? Because obviously, depending on the weather and how dry it is. It does. I posted a video just now, Master D, 38 seconds long, where this not actual whole situation, and he's talking about filters and how he's proven something. But if you watch this video, something's happening there.
Well, I'll summarize what he's saying. He's saying, I had a little look at the sun, and the sun's not actual size didn't change in not actual size as it moved throughout the day. That's what he's saying so far. I mean, profound,
Right.
as I say. That's really interesting, Reds. We ever going to get to your little measurement there? Or is it just stacking up the false dichotomy so yours looks more likely? Seems so.
So can you play the video that I just posted and tell me what's happening there, Mr. Reds?
Is it another YouTube video? Do I need to cue it up?
No, it's a cop. It's like 38 seconds. It's already
I can't.
Ready to go.
It doesn't. I can't. There's a problem. My Skype isn't recognizing. Sorry.
no problem.
Hold on a second.
Well, someone took this video, and you could see with your own eyes what's happening. So I'm just trying to figure out what these people are trying to tell us.
When you say I can see what's happening, I don't know what the thing is. So when you say
That's
what's
what I'm
happening,
saying. And that's why I want an explanation for it. It's like they're saying, he's saying he took it, he used filters, and it's the vanishing point. It's not getting any smaller, blah, blah, blah. I've seen the sun huge because of what's in that 10 degrees, 15 degrees above the horizon, where we know in the sex that they try to avoid because of all the stuff in the air, the magnification, all of that crazy stuff. So I've seen the sun do some crazy things. And here's a video that shows it doing another crazy thing. So that's all. I'm just letting the audience know that this guy isn't exactly sharing every bit of information about the sun.
because he doesn't know. I mean, if he gives it us, I'll say, great, here's his measurement. But he hasn't.
Additionally, this observation confirmed what we would expect to see from a sun at...
Hold on. It confirms what we would expect. Hold on a second. It sounds like you're trying to slip in a beg in the question fallacy there, Reds. Tut, tut, tut. What we would expect. Let's see what you say we would expect. I mean, obviously, we would hope it's not based on an R assumption and an orbital mechanic assumption, because those sorts of assumptions would need to be validated before you assume them to tell us that that's what you're expecting to see. So you're expecting to see no change in the not actual size. How interesting.
At 93 million miles away.
Oh, really? 93 million miles. There's a problem, you see. So you're saying you'd expect it to be 93 million miles away? No, you've just had a little look at it, and it's not actual size. It doesn't change in not actual size throughout the day there, Reds? Where did you get this 93 million miles from? Oh, yeah, you got it from assuming Earth has a spherical radial value, and then plugging that into Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion, so that you can extract out, by way of Christian Huygens' assumption, that there are R values for the lights in the sky also, and those R values specifically for Venus are identical to the one you've assumed for Earth. Then you can get your 93 million mile distance through orbital assumptions. But we're not in orbit. The stars are used to plot your position by their movement over the land. And in terms of what the sun does, it's the same. You can plot its GP position. Well, that means it's moving over different parts of the land. I know that for a fact. But that's where my knowledge ends. And so does yours. But what's that you've had a little look too, and it's 93 million miles? Because you've got an assumption that Earth is a sphere, it's orbiting around the sun because Kepler said so? Oh, really? Well, I don't assume that that's what we should expect when we see no difference in the not actual size, Reds. It's pathetic. Let's be honest.
That video will be linked down below if you care to learn the details. But let's be clear, that video did not feature a measurement of that
You're damn right it didn't.
93 million mile distance.
No, it's done by Christian Huygens, assuming that Venus had the same R value as Earth, so you could use Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion to scale all of the distances based on Earth having a radial value that's the same as Venus that was assumed to be in orbital motion by Kepler. That's where you get that from. There's no measurements ever. What are you talking about? Of course there isn't a measurement for it. It's what you've disclaimed, what you expected. No, you assumed you were in orbital motion. Like you assumed that Venus is the same size. It's just a load of assumptions, Reds. It's pathetic. Godzilla37 says, Reds watched your show, Nathan. It turns out you too are 93 million miles away. He knows this because he used his camera. Right on. What a numpty. Okay, Reds. No, we don't hear much from you.
It just confirmed that the model agreed with reality.
Oh, did it? It confirmed that all of those assumptions match with your not actual size not changing in not actual size throughout the day? It confirmed it, did it, Reds? Give yourself a lollipop, sunshine.
Given the observations made on that.
What of it's not actual size not changing? Wow. Just fantastic
You said
confirmation.
model. What model?
Oh, the one I detailed with the assumptions in place from Huygens and Kepler and orbits and space.
That day. So yes, we debunked the small and local part.
No, you didn't debunk that either. It wasn't proven, though. You're just a numpty who doesn't understand when a false dichotomy's been presented to you by idiots on Twitter. You think you've got to go out defending their claim they haven't proven. You don't, numpty. Yeah? Me, I wouldn't need to make a 45-minute video on this subject. You say it's local, prove it. And when they fail, I laugh. Like I'm going to laugh at you, Reds. Yeah? You are a failure also. Having a little look at the sun doesn't confirm Kepler and Huygens. A 93 million mile distance is okay, sunshine. You'll need an R value measurement for that. And we've debunked where you get it for your model, haven't we, sunshine? That's why we don't see hide nor hair of you ever anymore. On this block. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's interesting he said that because the video I posted shows it does not actual size is changing. So there are days it does and there's days it doesn't. So again, he's not showing the other side of it.
Well, no, he's inferring that when he puts a solar filter on, he's got the actual size of the sun changing. When he disclaims he's taking an angular size measurement. So it's not actual size doesn't change, Reds? Are you dumb? Yes, you are.
Of the flat Earth assertion conclusively.
Flat Earth assertion. See, earlier I gave you credit to say where these numpties, the individuals on Twitter that you cited, were wrong and you needed to ask them for evidence. You didn't. You fell victim to their false dichotomy fallacy because you're a moron. However, that doesn't prove that flat earthers are wrong. I am a flat earther, Reds, and I'm humiliating you for your assumptions of R values that we can debunk when you claim to have measurements of them by way of Al-Biruni's dip to the horizon that's used to establish horizontal baselines. Hello? You haven't got an R value to make your 93 million mile, it's gonna match what I think it is, crap, when you have a look at not actual sizes not changing. Okay, Dumbo? I am a flat earther. Do not stereotype me with the other numpties on Twitter who say they know how far the sun is. They're as stupid as you are when you say it matches your model assumptions because you've had a little look at it. Okay, numpty? I'm a flat earther. Don't stereotype me.
But we only hinted that the sun was 93 million miles away.
No, hinted? No, you assumed it by way of Kepler's third law and Huygens' assumption of Venus as being Earth's twin. You didn't hint at it. You're a fundamentalist religious zealot. You just assumed it, you stupid idiot.
And if you thought that was a cliffhanger...
It wasn't a cliffhanger, it was a begging the question fallacy. You think the difference between cliffhanger, what happens at the end of EastEnders or Home and Away, is the same as you assuming everything that you're trying to prove? No, it's called begging the question, Reds. You might want to look that up.
So did I.
What, you thought it was a cliffhanger? No, I thought it was you just saying it matches my assumption of 93 million miles because I assumed it and then looked at it.
And so,
hang on. Is he being funny here? Because I thought the official claim was that it was 93 million miles. Why is he dancing around that claim he should be standing behind?
Because he's thick. He thinks that looking at an actual size measurement not changing is proof of a 93 million mile assumption that he's made. Suddenly that's a cliffhanger to this clown.
December of 2022, I traveled to Denver, Colorado with a Meade LX200 telescope, while Astronomy Live remained in Florida with a Celestron Nexstar 11 telescope. Utilizing these telescopes and the distance between us, we
That'll be a distance along a flat baseline.
We got some measurements that would allow us to find the distance to the sun.
Those measurements will be angle measurements off a flat Earth. Rhetoric's about to prove a flat Earth.
In this video, we will describe our methodology,
With a flat Earth, and a flat Earth baseline and an angle thereof.
list our measurements,
Of angles
go over the historical data used,
that prove the flat Earth historically and to this date.
and explain the math that
That uses flat Earth, because it's angle measurements off a flat baseline.
ties it all together.
Cool.
In addition, this data has been typed out in a master document, and you can find that document listed in the description.
Don't need it. People use celestial navigation and flat Earth elevation angles off flat baselines all day, every day. Don't need your crap, Dumbo. You think not actual size measurements not changing proves something? You think that proves 93 million miles? You think I want your master documents? No thanks. People save lives with a method of measuring Earth flat with angles like you're going to do. To make your little sphere assumption at the end. Yeah, people save lives with celestial navigation. It requires a flat Earth, Reds. Don't need your stupid shit.
I also want to make a quick note regarding the math in this video.
It'll need a flat Earth.
For this project, we decided to do all the calculations within multiple digital spreadsheets.
Fascinating.
This allowed us to more quickly and easily run through
I decided I was going to collate all of the data in Excel. It was really interesting.
You are boring as shit. Find a woman and get yourself laid, Reds. Yeah? No woman in your life? Excel taking the place of a sex life? I'm thinking yes.
through all the calculations. It also made it easier to share our work with all
It made it really easy to package it up and then send it via email to other aspiring globe believers.
of you.
Is he gonna
So,
hang on?
all the-
Is he gonna share 90 degrees with everybody?
Let's
is
hope
that where he's
so.
going?
Let's hope so we can rub it in his face. But our examples would be ones that saved lives, not red, stupid garbage that's still measured on a flat Earth.
spreadsheets mentioned in this video will be linked down below.
You can pick up the links to Red's video if you go and let him know. Be sure to let him know how thoroughly interested you are with his Excel spreadsheets. Say, Nathan sent me, I'm really interested in how you collated this data. Alternatively, if you've got a woman in your life, just go and give her a kiss. Just go and do that instead. Anyway, I've linked Red's video. Seriously, do let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me.
With that said, let's get started. Let's start with our home planet.
What, start by assuming Earth is spherical and calling it a planet? So you're just going to beg the question immediately? Let's start by assuming you're a rubber chicken. Why? Well, just no particular reason. Let's just assume, by way of starting point, that you are a giant man-shaped rubber chicken. There's no reason why, other than to beg the question that you're a chicken, because at the end of this, I'm going to declare that you are actually a man-sized rubber chicken. So it's far easier if I assume at the outset that you are, in fact, a rubber chicken shaped like a giant man. So if I assume it in the first instance, it's far easier to prove it at the end. So are we all clear when I conclude whatever Rhetoric says in between with therefore he is a man-sized rubber chicken, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do? Like, it's reasonable to assume we're on a planet like he's just done? Shout out to Kosura again. Be kind to a dumb animal. You've been watching QE. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. It is not Be Kind to Dumb Animal Week, as much as I appreciate your financial support. We will laugh at this nonsensical stupidity for as long as it continues. But thank you, I really do appreciate the super chat.
On January 8th, 2023, Astronomy Live made some observations using his Celestron Nexstar 11 telescope. While not the main purpose of his outing, he made some observations that evening that allowed him to find a value for the radius of the Earth. This
You know, when he set it up, did he have to level it? This telescope. He'd have to level it, wouldn't he? Hold on, I'm going to do a proper introduction. Wait for a moment for Brian's lines to all connect. Hello, Brian.
Hey Nathan, hey everyone, how are things?
Excellent. Now we've just tipped over 100 viewers with you arriving. I'm pretty sure that's as a direct result of you, and only you.
We're about to see how Rubber Chicken fouls up angles.
Indeed. Don't
That's
shoot the
a good
messenger.
one,
Just gives me €2. Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. I want to do a proper introduction because this was Brian's suggestion. I gave credit to 10th earlier saying, well, this is your video, and he pointed out, actually, no, this is your suggestion. So without I haven't watched this yet, so no spoilers, but I can only imagine what's coming, Brian. Mike's all yours.
Yeah, well, actually, who actually sent it to me was Mitchell. So it's actually Mitchell who said this should be reviewed, if I remember correctly. And when I watched it, I had to totally agree with him. Yeah, this is excellent. This is Bojitsu Grandmaster 10th Dan black belt level. It's epic.
Full jitsu of the
Even
highest order.
QE says it.
I mean, on the one hand, I'm very pleased to hear it. On the other hand, while we've just hit 100 viewers and I am delighted about that, what I'm hearing is Rhetoric's video was shared by someone to Mitchell, and from Mitchell to you, and from you to 10th, and from 10th to me, and now to my wide audience. I mean, it would be wonderful if that was the general order of things with Flat Earth debate. You know, that would be fantastic. But, you know, you're telling me it's wonderful and it's fantastic and you've shared it and you've been shared it, and that's great for Reds. Obviously, I'll help Reds in the algorithmic love when I say go and let him know about Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, because his video's so damn popular. I mean, bloody hell, just for its popularity, I'm going to give it a like. But yeah, in all seriousness, do let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. How's the live streaming looking, by the way? Just before Brian gives his summary and we move back on with this video. There's the link to Reds. It's going by now. How's the live stream looking? This is using all sorts of new hardware. Is it all looking good? Just let me know in the live stream chat. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Rhetoric's video is so good that I actually felt like going in and complimenting them. I'm not telling them why the compliment I was getting them. I was nearly going to go and say, if you look at the comments, the first one I saw, I think the pinned comment is for MC Town. And I felt like giving them a compliment saying, this is an absolutely epic video, Reds, and leaving it at that. But I said I won't do that. But because it would be epic for the wrong reasons for him and Astronomy Live, let's just say.
This observation was featured in his video, Observing Earth's Axial Precession. A link to the full video will be posted down below, but let's take a look at the relevant section of that video so we can see what value he discovered for the radius of the Earth.
Hang on.
Hold on.
So,
hold on. Why are we suggesting that Earth has a radius? I don't really follow. Where did that come from? Exactly.
Yeah.
Why are we making...
Yeah, he jumped. I'm sorry. He jumped a bunch of things. He's talking about this guy over there in Florida with his Celestron telescope looking at the stars. And the stars we know are moving. And then he jumps to an axial rotation of the Earth from that.
Yeah, well, he clearly doesn't want to, highlight the Flat Earth headline too much. He's got to bury it a little bit.
Well, the whole point is if he just had lifted up a drone and let it hover and film with the drone, the stars would move, and would the Earth have axial rotation now? Since it's not on the Earth anymore?
Okay, we haven't got there yet, but if that's what he now segues onto, I'm tempted to move past it because, we'll deal with his elevation angle measurement rather than his axial rotation claim, if that's what he now jumps to.
After all, that nice big 11-inch
go on.
Don't move past anything. Play the whole video from start to finish.
Hey, it's longer than this live show.
telescope that the Orion ST-80's been riding piggyback on has been doing a whole lot of nothing while I've been taking these pictures. But that telescope has some nice new electronics on it that allow us to measure the elevation of the North Celestial Pole. So let's take a look. For reference, here's the picture taken by the Orion ST-80 over 9.5 minutes while it was riding piggyback. We can see the North Celestial Pole is in the middle of the view. So what elevation is this over the horizon? According to the telescope's hand controller, it was...
What elevation is this above the horizon? So the angle above a flat baseline? You're measuring a flat Earth then to get this measurement? Astronomy Live.
Well, considering it's going to be somewhere between 0 and 90, I think he's on a flat plane.
Yeah. He's leveled his measuring device and now he's taking an angle with respect to the horizon or horizontal. So you're measuring this angle off a flat Earth, Astronomy Live. We've been asking for 2 straight years how you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved adjacent. Well, the angle you're about to detail definitely doesn't have a curved adjacent. This is a stone cold, flat Earth proof. Earth is required to be flat for Astronomy Live to give you this angle measurement. So, Astronomy Live, welcome to Flat Earth. You have proven for my audience that Earth is unequivocally measured flat.
Pointing 27 degrees, 7 minutes, 11 seconds above the horizon.
Above the horizontal baseline, for that to be an angle. That's a flat Earth proof, my friend. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Due north, 0 degrees azimuth. And for further confirmation, the hand controller also reported that it was pointing 90 degrees positive declination at the North Celestial Pole, which is what we saw in the photo. I then drove 3 miles due south and stopped at a second location to set up the telescope once more.
On a flat Earth? So you're going to level your telescope and you're going to use it to acquire an angle again off a flat baseline. So you're going to do it twice? You're going to prove Earth is measured flat twice? Okay.
I leveled the telescope and set it...
You leveled it? Not on a curve you didn't, my friend. There is no level on a curve. You won't be leveling your telescope if it's a curved surface. Meanwhile, you're taking angles after leveling it. So you're proving Earth is flat then?
It up once again and pointed it at positive 90 degrees declination.
That would be a flat Earth angle measurement that you've just taken. So that's twice. Twice.
How can you
Go on.
I'm sorry. How can you have a positive 90-degree angle declination on the curved surface?
You can't. As I just stated, it requires Earth to be flat in order to get this measurement. It's a prerequisite that Earth is flat. And he's just proven it. Well done, Astronomy Live. You've done a great job of proving how elevation angle measurements prove Earth is measured flat. And then you've gone out and measured it that way. Well done. This methodology of taking angles off a flat baseline is used to save people's lives at sea. It's called celestial navigation. You acquire a horizontal baseline and a star so you can have an angle. And with 3 of them, you can acquire 3 areas of, quote, equal elevation. That's tens of thousands of square miles in all directions from your measuring point with flat baselines to all of them. That's a flat Earth saving people's lives on a daily basis with this exact same flat Earth required methodology that Astronomy Live is using. Props to you. Well done, sunshine. You're measuring Earth as a flat plane. Another shout out to Costura. Nathan and crew, love your work. Where is QE? He's probably snoozing. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support.
Do they know the damage? Do they know the damage that was just caused here? Because he's in Florida, so he's got his zenith 90. Polaris is where it's at, and it's got its 90. And the distance in between of the 2 GPs have to be flat. Does he know what he just did?
No, none of them do. They're too stupid. They think false dichotomies and burden of proof reversal fallacies prove distance isn't local or proved 93 million mile assumption with Kepler and Huygens. These people are stupid religious fundamentalist zealots who measure Earth flat to infer they can get a radius from it. They're stupid at a fundamental level. Shout out to Godzilla37. Today's show brought to you by the generosity of Kotsura. Indeedy. Thank you for the super chat to affirm the generosity of another super chatter, Godzilla. Really appreciate your support also. Go ahead.
I was going to say, is anyone keeping a record of how many times he either utilizes or invokes a flat Earth to make a claim?
Maybe someone would like to go through it, timestamp every time he measures a flat Earth. Me, I'll just point it out on the fly.
Refractive he's mentioned elevation angles. He's mentioned 90. He's mentioned leveling the telescope. He's obviously implied zenith, which is the 90. So, yeah, several times already.
Yeah, the telescope's level.
Yeah, I was thinking
with the horizontal line he's measuring out to give him the angle that he gave you. Well, the telescope's level with that. We're all clear. He made it absolutely explicit. Telescope level, flat line for the angle, flat Earth required. It's just that simple. Go on, John.
Oh, I was going to say with the telescope, he invoked it twice because he invoked level. Then he also invoked the equatorial plane. He's talking about elevation angles to Polaris for its.
I'm going to do a quick call to action. Just 1 second, Brian. Indeedy, yes, he's invoked it 3 times in separate instances, probably on more than one occasion for each. But 108 people watching, and I want to do another call to action now that there are over 100 people watching. So this is the first day back after a long 9 months of problems and a long week of resolving them. But now that we are back and everything seems to be functioning beautifully, please share the show. I know that there's 105, 106 people, fluctuating because all of the regulars right at the beginning of the show had this same call to action and have shared the show, smashed it out, got it out there and got it over 100. It'd be great to increase that before we are up with the live hour that we typically have. So please share the show. Also, obviously, there are over 100 people watching, so a very warm welcome to all of you who've just joined us. The only reason you're here is because you probably clicked the share button or clicked the share link that someone smashed. So yeah, please return the favour, pay it forward, smash that share button. Let's get up to 150. Why not? Go ahead, Brian. Sorry to keep you on hold.
Yeah, what he's done so far, Astronomy Live, is he's taken 2 flat Earth measurements 3 miles apart. Now, wait for the next part for how he comes up with a radius.
Okay, I mean, we will, but I don't care. At this point, whatever he does from here forth with his flat Earth measurements is irrelevant.
Facing the North Celestial Pole to take another 9.5-minute image. We see once again that the telescope is pointed at the North Celestial Pole, with the stars tracing circles concentrically around that point. The telescope now reports that it's pointing at an altitude over the horizon of 27 degrees, 4 minutes, 35 seconds.
A flat Earth measurement. So we're measuring Earth as flat to give us these degrees. Okay? So once we've taken these flat Earth measurements, once we've got all of these measurements off a flat Earth that has a prerequisite that Earth is flat for you to measure it that way, we'll go forth and use these for our values, will we? Okay, I see.
Converting these readings to decimal.
That's a very interesting drawing of angle measurements along a flat baseline. So this is scaled equivalent to what you're describing, is it? Earth's flat then, like described in this Muppet Vision diagram. Yeah, that's a flat Earth. There's no curve to it. Earth is flat. Here's Astronomy Live making it absolutely explicitly clear so there is no doubt in your mind how we are measuring Earth. Here is his telescope on the ground. Here is the other telescope on the ground. Remember when he said he leveled the telescope? Yeah, they're both level with each other and level with the GP. So we have a flat Earth prerequisite being measured and proven by Astronomy Live. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Degrees, we find that little dot in the North Celestial Pole was 27.11972 degrees above the horizon at our first location and 27.07639 degrees above the second location, 3 miles
proving beyond all doubt that Earth is flat.
South. On a globe Earth, these results make
Sorry. On a globe Earth, they weren't. You see, what you've got on screen now does not match what you measured. What you've got now is no baseline. Neither of these two telescopes are level anymore, and neither of them will give you an angle because the baseline is now curved. This is how it's actually measured. It's an angle. One straight line meeting another straight line at a vertex point. That is an angle. This is not an angle. You can't have a laser to a non-level telescope with a curve beneath it and call it an angle, because it isn't. But what, on a globe Earth? On a globe Earth, it wouldn't be an angle, Dumbo.
Perfect sense. If we take
Nathan,
Yes.
quickly. This, what I want to point out here is what he's doing here. This very thing is the exact thing that was hijacked and turned into a globe originally. He's measuring part of a longitude line between him and Polaris, because it was the flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris that is where all of the latitude and longitude grid comes from. It's all derived directly from that. So a star's position on Earth, its GP point, is only in reference to Polaris's GP. So what he's doing here is the original trick that they hijacked. He's ignoring all perspective and putting himself at the center, putting the measurement at the center of the globe and measuring an outline. That's the
a
exact
360
thing
degrees
that was
and
originally
divided
done.
by the difference in elevation that we observed the North Celestial Pole and that faint little star.
The difference in elevation measured off a flat Earth, which, again, this isn't representative of. So that difference that you took earlier off a flat Earth
of 0.04333 degrees.
An angle measurement that's only acquirable if Earth is flat.
And then multiply this times 3 miles and divide it by 2 times pi.
Why?
Get a radius of Earth of 3,000.
Oh, to give you a radius that bastardizes a measurement into a non-angle? No, you took it off a flat Earth, my friend. Taking a no longer angle that you took off a flat Earth and describing how you'll get a radial value from it is absurd. You haven't proven a radius value with this. You've taken an angle and made it into a non-angle, curved baseline and all.
1,967 miles, within a few miles of the expected radius of the planet.
Expected? There's him doing it. Reds did it earlier. Sorry, where would you have this expectation? Maybe you could show us in advance what gave you that expectation. AKA begging the question fallacy based on an assumption. No, you're not. Your expectation's a fundamentalist religious belief because you haven't shown us why you have that expectation. You just have that expectation. And then you take angles that couldn't possibly give you a conversion to a radial value when they're no longer angles if you assume Earth's a sphere, and tell us that that's how you get your radial value. No, that's garbage.
So, Astronomy Live was able to measure out a value for the radius of the Earth.
No, he wasn't. He was able to measure elevation angles off a flat baseline, Red. So you're dumb? Did you not follow along with what he actually did? He measured Earth as flat, and then he decided that if those no longer angles were to give him... No, you don't seem to be able to follow along with basic nonsense, because that's what you were just presented. I took the measurement he actually did before inferring that he could take that and do something mathematical with it. The measurement itself was of a flat Earth, Reds.
And that value came out to 6,384 kilometers.
And fascinating, with a flat Earth elevation angle measurement at its heart, I'm going to call this garbage.
This is the value we will use for...
Will it? You'll use that value that required a flat Earth to get it? That seems silly.
This video.
Why? So you're saying that your assumption that you're expecting is going to be used based on this that is done within the video? No, we're going to need some historical data for why you two fundamentalist religious zealots assume a radial value to begin with. You know, when you say things like, it's what we were expecting, yeah, we point out it's what you are begging the question of, and you're going to need to demonstrate why, as a fundy globe believer, you would expect that. Especially when
Nathan,
the angles don't comport with it.
From space. What do you want? It's right on screen. It's a picture from space. There's your globe Earth.
I see. No, what we have on screen is a second law of thermodynamics violation. This is supposed to be high-pressure gas, forming clouds in a dynamic pressurized system. Now, these clouds, we're going to say, although they're not specifically the gas, are a visual representation of what takes place in the air that we breathe at a high pressure. And this black area is claimed to be a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. Now, without any containment between the high pressure gas and the low vacuum, the high pressure gas would expand in all directions into this area of volume immediately. In fact, we would never have developed this gas pressure to begin with, because every single particle of gas that escaped the ground on this nonsensical ball that's been claimed to be proven with flat Earth angles would vacate the surface, enter the sky vacuum, and never return. So we would never develop gas pressure, because the gas coming out of the ground would have nothing to press on, meaning we would never be alive in the first place breathing gas. Furthermore, to assert that we've already got gas pressure, not pressing on anything, and not following the second law of thermodynamics description of entropic effects, that would be gas-filling vacuums, is utterly absurd. His flat Earth angle measurements don't prove he's got a sphere Earth in a sky vacuum, and his bullshit picture of clouds next to 10 to the minus 17 torr black vacuum also doesn't prove that this is real, Arwin. Sorry, total fail.
No, but you know it's real because there's no stars, right? So that's how you know it's a real picture from space, because you don't see stars when you take a picture from Earth for some mysterious reason. But that's how you know it's real.
Let's talk about Kepler's third law.
The one I already covered earlier when I pointed out where your assumptions came from. Yeah, let's get into it.
Kepler's third law states that the square of the orbital period of an object...
Oh, why have we got orbital periods? I see. So the square of the I'm going to assume Earth's falling around the sun periods. Why would he assume that? So you're just going to tell us what he's assumed in terms of his orbital assumption I pointed out as you're begging the question fallacy, and just assert it from his own mouth? I see. No, he's going to need to prove what he just decided was true. I'm going to decide that Earth is falling around the sun. Okay. No, just having maths for your assumption doesn't make your assumption true.
Is proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis. Now, this may sound like a complicated principle.
No, it sounds like a begging the question fallacy. And I already preempted it when I talked about Kepler, didn't I? Yeah? I was way ahead of you when I pointed out how you begged the question with Kepler. And right on cue, here you are begging the question of an orbital motion with Kepler. Isn't it shocking how far in advance of you I am, Reds?
But it can be understood through...
Understood or proven to be true. Yeah, I can understand orbital motions and Kepler's third law in this instance, but it doesn't mean that the begging the question of Earth falling around the sun is true. It's just made up by Kepler.
Basic algebra.
You might
and
be,
to go over that
you
algebra,
might be meaning
I present-
understanding in the legal context, not in the comprehension context, yeah? If you understand it, if you stand under it, if you agree to it, then here you go.
Then what? I get you to agree to stand under the notion of unicorns holding the world together. Therefore, it's true when
exactly.
I offer if p squared over unicorns cubed, then therefore the maths of unicorns' existence, if we assume unicorns, because Nathan's assumption of unicorns and the maths thereof are as follows when we assume unicorns. No.
So it's not going to win the argument, but it's going to trick people into subconsciously understanding, agreeing to the whole thing on a legal level.
I see.
Can we stop horsing around and get back to the show?
And to you, the one and only Marty Mere 81.
Okay, so a body in orbit.
I have a question about the orbital mechanics.
I have a question straight away. Why is it that now we are a body in orbit? Oh, it's because Kepler said so, and now this dude says so also, and we're going to start with that as our assumption, right? Okay, gentlemen. May I introduce you to the notion of begging the question? Go ahead, John.
Well, within the one of the equations that I'm looking at, it has angle of travel as the basis for orbital mechanics. Where are they getting the angle of travel from to assert orbital mechanics?
They don't. The angle of travel makes it sound like there's a distance capable of being ascribed within the third law of motion invented by Kepler. There isn't. So his saying distance is an inference because there's only scale, not distance.
No, angle of travel. They have to be. It's you gotta
Yeah,
measure
it's all coming
sorry,
up, John. It's
that
all
slipped
coming
me
up.
by. No. Now that the penny's dropped, I'm not going to take that moment. I'll pretend the penny didn't just drop on me. What do you mean? I don't understand how relevant this angle being observed in the description of it traveling. I mean, maybe it's acquisition or something. I don't know how that's relevant, John.
Well, orbital mechanics are built on the necessity of Earth being flat, just like their radius value uses measurements off a flat plane. Orbital mechanics has the same problem.
Yeah, it's all ahead of us, John. Don't worry.
It's derived from the celestial sphere that is measured over a flat plane. I mean, come on, give him a break.
Correct, but they're saying the motion.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
No.
dear.
Let me just correct Darwin because it's subtle. The difference is subtle, but it's a difference. No, that's the system in its development. What John's saying is the actual orbital motion itself can be measured and must be measured for Kepler's assertions. It's a description of the movement of the lights, but it's described with angles, right, John? Therefore, the motion in orbit itself is acquired to be described in an orbital motion by way of acquisition of elevation angle measurement off a flat plane. So the claim to be in a circle motion of an orbit is actually directly ascribable to the observation of its angle. Right, John?
Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
Exactly what I just said, except more elaborate and technical.
Yeah, but there's a secondary part. It's that you must treat the Earth as stationary.
I'm
All ahead of us.
It's live show shortly. We're going to do two shows on Reds. We'll cover this again tomorrow because it's just too much to pack into one show. Go ahead, John. You've got something else you wanted to add?
Oh wait, no, Ray just wants to add something quick.
Go ahead.
And we also got Dell. So after we're done with the review video, Dell seems keen to participate on the show. I voice verified him, and I voice verified Dell, and he's a very nice person. So
All
I'll
right,
just add
Dell,
that too.
let's get it on.
Yeah, let's
Well,
get some Narnia magic.
What's his screen name?
Planewalker, I think. Let me check. Yeah, Planewalker.
Friendly action, guys. Friendly action. Just remember that.
No,
I can't
I
see him
like
in the-
Dell. I want
Is
to
he
hear what
actually-
he's got to say. But
Hello?
asking him to come.
Hello? Oh, yes, I do see him in the chat. Hello, Dell.
Well, he's been here a while, so he might be AFK temporarily. Just
Fine.
so you guys know he's there, okay?
No worries. While we're live, I made an error in one of my assertions in one of the videos, which Brian pointed out to me right at the beginning of last week before the computer fell over. And I got to it in the middle of the week and said, look, just correct this on a live stream at some point. Although it's not directly, I can't remember what it was actually, but whatever it may be, I don't think it's necessarily going to be connected to Rhetoric. But I remember when I read it from Brian thinking that's a useful teaching tool to use on the show. So it was vaguely, I remember something in regards to me suggesting that a latitude grid wasn't. Go ahead, Brian. You can remember better than I.
Yeah, it's just because if you said it again afterwards or the second time, the ballers will give you head. You mixed up Cartesian coordinates with latitude and longitude. The latitude and longitude grid are what's known as polar coordinates. Right, so it works in lines from the center, which are longitude, and rings of circles, which is latitude. That's how polar coordinates work. Cartesian are in two-dimensional, are squares or rectangles, and they're both flat coordinates. So you weren't wrong when you were saying that, because they're both flat. There's no other way they're two-dimensional. They're both flat coordinates.
I know what I've said now. I said something along the lines of the latitude and longitude lines form a Cartesian grid system, which is incorrect.
No, they can form a Cartesian grid system because the polar and Cartesian, two-dimensional Cartesian, because polar is only two-dimensional, because it's only latitude, longitude, or it's only lines from the center and circles. They work perfect together, right? But there's a difference. As I said, the polar coordinates involves lines from a center and circles. Cartesian is all squares. But the difference, the second difference in that is that Cartesian can be three-dimensional, which is why surveyors and GPS use it. It's because it has elevations. There's no elevations with polar coordinates. So it's just if you continued saying that, someone's going to give you a hassle about it, and they're going to be making videos and trying to character assassinate you. When it's just just a small thing that a lot of people would look past, but we know the people we deal with in our opposition won't look past that. And neither would maybe some other flat earthers who don't like it. They won't look past it. So it's important that the two of them are different, but they work perfectly together in two dimensions.
No, I get it. We are in a hyper-specific environment, and these sorts of things aren't embarrassing to me. But by the same token, they are useful education tools for people listening when they get explained, and you only learn by mistakes in these regards. I'm not infallible. Anyway, thank you for correcting me. I'd rather it went out to an audience than to me privately. I remember QE saying, because he used to do it as well, he'd put a correction into Skype and I'd immediately mention it on the live show, and he'd be like, no, I'm trying to subtly tell you that you've got something wrong. I'm like, I don't care. I'd rather, if I've got it wrong, that's potentially caused damage. If someone repeats it, better to just nip it in the bud and get it out there in case somebody starts repeating garbage that I've said that's wrong. And, I'm as guilty as anybody else. If I've listened reasonably well and then just put something together that's incorrect, I'd rather it was corrected. Anyway, I was going to end the live show, but if Dell's around, maybe we can get chatting to him on the live show. We'll see. What I intend to do now is nip off and do what I do at the end of the live show when I go into the after show. Maybe get a fresh drink and things like that. But I will stay live if you want to chat amongst yourselves. See if you can get to Dell's attention while I get a coffee. Yeah, we'll all try and get his attention. Dell, you there?
Well, I was hoping I hope he'd start talking.
But he'll be on if he's on.
Sure, but I'm willing to keep the live stream going because it's it's a good opportunity to have Dal on live if he's here. So if he's AFK at the moment, then fine. But I'll go and get myself a coffee if you guys can keep the conversation going, because it's obviously tantamount that you do if we are staying live. But I am thirsty.
Yeah, I will. I'll keep it going.
Good.
Yeah. The rest of this video, the Rhetoric video, Rhetoric video is very, very good, because I'm not going to give too much away because it'd be better on another live show, but they go into focusing on what we're focusing at the moment on. One of the things we're focusing on, which is astronomy, and they focus on how it's done, and we're preempting the whole thing, right? That's kind of like, it's kind of killing it in one way, but it's a good thing in another way. We're preempting all the things they're doing. But their premise at the end of how they came up with this distance to the sun, it's a whole new premise, a whole new way of doing it. Well, it's not a new way. They're not using Venus this time, let's just say. But they go through such circles of nonsense, and they prove it can't be flat, it can't be spherical and moving 100%. And then they say globe, rotating, orbiting globe Earth proven with distance to sun, heliocentric model.
Hang on.
That's what they did.
Brian, are you saying they pull a NASA document flop? All these instruments, all these things work over a flat stationary Earth, one of those things?
They might as well pull one of those documents out, yeah. They might have as well have just pulled out one of those documents. Because I'm pretty sure Astronomy Live is an astronomer. So they might as well have just pulled out. I mean, I think he might actually have a degree or whatever in astronomy. I don't think he's just some randomer. But it doesn't matter, because he is using what they use in astronomy. He's doing exactly what they do in astronomy. I won't give it all away now because it'd be better if it happens live.
Yeah.
But he basically lays out exactly what we've been talking about with astronomy.
Well, we've documented, as you know, that even in celestial navigation, they got to assume the stars are moving and the Earth is stationary. So this thing keeps coming up from NASA, from celestial navigation. Now you're saying these guys. So you might as well just stop hiding the fact that the Earth is stationary and the stars are moving. Then why don't you just say it the way you're doing that?
But they can't.
I know.
NASA can. NASA can say it because NASA knows they can BS their way out of it. you know what I mean? They can just throw out a document that says, yeah, everything's flat and stationary for everything we do, but it's still a rotating sphere. NASA can do that. You know what I mean? But people look past that because whoever saw any of the NASA documents talking about how they're testing their aerospace vehicles, let's just say, over a flat stationary plane. Whoever saw any of those documents until the topic of flat Earth turned up? Nobody.
Well, it goes into all the categories. Even Andrew Thomas Young says all of his refraction studies were done over a plane.
Yeah, everything is done over a plane. There's no other way to do it.
It's plain and simple. It's called plain and simple for a reason.
Is that why, Brian, the airplane is called airplane?
Well, I would suspect that, but I don't know for certain why it's called airplane. But I don't see why it wouldn't be called. Or actually, it's funny you say that because I remember hearing Rhetoric saying, I'm pretty sure it was Rhetoric or maybe Fight the Flat Earth saying, stupid flat earthers think airplanes are called. Oh yeah, I think he said stupid flat earthers think airplanes are called airplanes because they're flying over a plane. And he said something like they're talking about the plane of the sphere, right? Something like that. It's like no, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Pretty sure they're not talking about a plane of a sphere because you can't have a plane on a sphere. It's not possible.
Well, it would be called an atmosphere then, wouldn't it? And that's already taken. So it's an airplane or an atmoplane or an air sphere, you know?
It would be an airsphere. That's what they'd have to call it, an airsphere. Something that flies around the air of a sphere. That's what they'd have to call it if it was really flying around the air of a sphere. But airplanes can't. That's the problem. You know?
Or they'd have to call them orbiters.
For the plane, as you've documented yourself, for the plane to be flying horizontal plane, it's got to be 2 to 3 degrees nose up for it to be flying on that plane or that horizontal plane. So airplane, other than ascending and descending, obviously, once it's at level flight, it's flying on the plane horizontally.
Well, it's actually worse than that because that's the simplified version. But the even worse version is that what does the lift effect do? It opposes the weight. To oppose the full weight of the aircraft, you need 100% positive lift. Now, you can't have, regardless of the wing type, even a cambered wing, right? You can't have 100% positive lift with any below horizontal pitch. You can only have it with an above horizontal pitch, right? So they have to have an above horizontal pitch, and that amount of pitch depends on their airspeed, right? But that is only so they can fly horizontally. So the only way to oppose the weight is to have an above horizontal pitch, and the reason they have an above horizontal pitch opposing the weight is to fly horizontally. It's so when anyone brings up these stupid arguments, because I had a guy yesterday trying to deal with me, bring up arguments about how can flights from this place to this place happen on a flat Earth or this concept. I don't know. I don't make any claims about any of these flights. I don't work within these airline companies. These are private companies that I can't verify exactly what they're saying. Won't give me information. Can't even get pitch data. You pitch data. You think that will be readily available for aircraft, commercial aircraft, but they won't give it to you. So I don't care. I don't care who, what way they do it, or if they do it at all with some of these flights. Doesn't matter. I can prove how the airplane flies.
Say again, Dell. Hold on, Brian. One
Sorry,
second.
can you hear me? Sorry, fucking hell.
Yeah, we can.
I was waiting for an invite there. I didn't realise that the mic was on.
Hey, no worries.
You hear me?
We do.
Aye, nice one.
I'm in the bathroom.
Sorry?
I think original D Rose is off mute. You're off mute, D Rose.
Straight in the room. Yes. Yes, your room is good.
Yeah, that's okay. I can sort that problem. We hear you okay, Dell.
Hello, Dell.
I can hear you. Well, there seems to be.
Good to have you.
Crosswire.
Welcome.
Can you hear us?
I can hear. I'm not sure who's speaking to me. I'm just hearing voices coming randomly, so I'm just waiting. Like cams a wee bit.
No, we're waiting on you.
Oh, so you're waiting for me? Oh, fuck. I have the floor.
You do.
Cheers for having me on.
Pleasure.
Sorry? Hello?
We hear you, Dell.
Make your case.
Okay, I'll get the ball rolling.
Sorry, are you waiting for me to say something? Right, I'm not sure how your format works, but anyhow, so I'm here obviously in regards to the latest, investigations that I've been partaking in. There's a couple of things I just want to get out the road first, right? First and foremost, I'm just a man that's objective. I don't have any, personal qualms with anybody here. I've said some things in the heat of the moment. People need to understand that I'm under constant attack and I don't know who to trust. There's loads of vicious play going on here. So I say things in the heat of the moment, and I've said some things about you, Nathan, which I'm going to apologise for right now. I should never be going to a subjective realm or attacking you at any personal level. Again, I don't know you on a personal level, but I say things and my tongue runs away with me sometimes. So hopefully you'll accept that apology before we move forward.
I don't care. But yes, fine. No worries.
No worries, Ray. It doesn't matter if you don't care. I'm just the man that I'm, and I'm going to own up to my mistakes, and I'm just going to say it right here and now. So anyhow, the whole investigation that's going on right now in regards to relative density disequilibrium, the vector that we have here on Earth, that being that we have a directionality to orientation, we have matter that assembles itself in a density gradient. And it's orientated in a particular direction. So my investigation started purely with the globe Earth claim. The globe Earth claim was that gravity was this force that pulled objects towards the Earth. That was their description or their explanation for the directional vector. Through my investigation, I uncovered certain things like there's no such thing as pull. So I'm just going to offer up for anybody to jump in while I'm saying these things. If anybody's got any questions or any doubts in regards to the claim that there's no such thing as a pulling force, then I would like to hear about it right now before I go any further.
Well, that's not a claim.
Well, no,
that's not a claim.
Sorry, what?
It's not a claim. If I say there's no such thing as unicorns, that's not a positive claim. It's for the person.
No, I mean,
it's for the person that's making. It's for the person that's making the positive claim to prove it. So if there's assertion that there's a downward bias, then that needs to be proven as a claim.
Downward bias? The downward bias. I'm saying that there's a directional vector. So there's an orientation.
No, I don't mean you. Nathan doesn't mean you, Dell. He's just talking about if someone makes a claim, it's only a claim. They have to be able to back it up. It doesn't mean anything if they can't back it up. So let's take gravity as a force.
So you comprehend then that there's no such thing as a pulling force?
Yeah,
well,
it's proven by gas.
Hold on, there are such things as pulling forces, though.
Can you offer me one?
Well, I'm not making any claim in this regard, but there are things that pull that have force to them.
Oh, you said that there's such a thing as a pulling force. That's a positive claim, Nathan. So
yeah, like a horse pulling a cart. That's a pulling force, isn't it?
I'm sorry, let me clarify. I'm talking in regards to mechanisms of motion. I'm talking about physics. I'm not talking about, relative descriptors of a situation, like, a horse pulling a cart, that being that the cart goes along the direction of the horse. I'm talking about the connection between the horse and the cart, with that being that it's a pressure mechanism. So pull is used as a descriptor of a relative motion towards something or away from something, push and pull. But in physical terms, I'm talking about the mechanism of what creates a motion. So there is no such thing as pull being a cause of motion.
Okay, that's very interesting. Just one question. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this exactly? What's this proving?
Oh, no, it's just I'm just laying out my investigation. Obviously, I'm going to get to the point because
maybe my question's not clear. What is the investigation? What are you investigating?
Claims of directional vector density gradients, why things go the way they go, things go up, things go down, and the cause of these things. So in the globe Earth, we've got gravity, and then we've got flat earthers that are claiming relative density disequilibrium.
No, that's a false dichotomy. It's not an opposite claim. When somebody, I've already covered this, when somebody makes a positive claim that you've got a gravity force pulling things down, that's for them to prove. When you say, but flat earthers say there's relative, no, that's not a juxtaposition. There's nothing being proven when you just point out that relative density disequilibrium occurs. It's fact. You can show it, but it doesn't prove anything either way. It's not a positive assertion about anything.
So what causes relative density disequilibrium?
Why? Why are you asking this question?
Because it's relevant to the whole investigation. There's a motion that happens. Listen, listen, motion requires a force.
Fascinating stuff. You're not getting the crux of my question though. Why are we looking at this? For what purpose? What is it achieving? Is it proving that we're on a flat plane? What's it proving?
No.
What's it proving?
Well, it's nothing to do with the proving a flat Earth or any of that. No.
And why are you here then? Do you not know what the show's about? Why are you doing this then? It seems folly. It seems like you're doing it for no reason. Because people have claims to make, get them to prove their claim. That's what you need to do.
This is an attempt for you just to try and put me down, Nathan, and try and get some one-upmanship.
No, I'm saying that you haven't justified to me what you're actually doing this for. You're saying your only justification so far is because people are saying stuff about relative density or gravity. And I've already said, as a rebuttal, get them to prove their claim. Beyond that, what are you claiming?
Well, let's just get to claims then. Nathan, you made a claim that...
I don't need to make a claim. I haven't come on your show to make a claim. You're here to make a claim, not me.
I'm here to ask you about your claims.
I don't have one. Moving on.
You claim that when an object's...
No, don't tell me what I claim.
You claim that...
Don't tell me what I claim. Are you dumb? Do you not understand what don't tell me what I claim? You're not me.
Well, I'm asking you...
Don't stutter either. You don't need to stutter when I give you a command. Don't tell me what I claim, Dell. It's that simple. I'll claim what I claim. You need to claim what you're claiming. Clear?
This is Nathan's...
Don't stutter. Just make your claim. Don't make what I claim. Make your claim for you, not my claim for me. It's really easy. Now, you need to get to making your claim, not telling me what I claim. Is that understood or not?
Nathan wants to make claims and demand...
Oh, you're going to tell me what I want now? Don't tell me what I want. Don't tell me what I claim. Don't divine my motivation here, Dell. It's really simple. Don't put words in my mouth. You just need to claim what you're claiming. This is very basic stuff.
Finished.
I haven't started. I haven't made any claims. You're here to make a claim.
Objects fall towards the Earth because you pick them up and give them...
Helium balloons don't fall towards the Earth when you pick them up. That's absurd. Are you unaware of clouds?
Nathan, can...
Dell, are you unaware of clouds? I've just contradicted your claim.
Can you...
Don't ask me, stuttery Simon. Just answer my question. You said things fall to the ground. They don't. Clouds. That got your tongue?
Things go up, things go down.
So, contradicting your statement that things go down already then, so you're wrong already.
No.
Yeah, you said things go down, I've said clouds, now you're saying some things go up, some things go down. Contradicting your original claim. So, what is your claim again, Dell?
You absolute weak gimp.
Sorry, are you calling me a gimp while I point out that your claim has just been contradicted by your own assertion that some things go up?
Everybody can hear you, Nathan.
Yes, they can hear me humiliating you because you've got a non-claim when you contradict it by pointing out that things go up, as you have just affirmed.
Things go up, things go down.
Yes, so we don't need to worry about why things go down when some things go up then, do we?
Because I think that you're just misrepresenting.
Sorry, you're going to tell me what I think again? Did you not understand my commands there, Jimmy? Don't tell me what I think. Make your nonsensical claim about things going down for me to point out clouds, and then we'll move on. That's where we're at.
Things go up, things go down. I never make the claim that...
So what are we proving here? Some things go up, some things go down. Meanwhile, Earth's flat, Dell. Who cares? That's right. So I'll prove Earth's flat. You worry about this nonsense, because it doesn't prove anything, mate. Yeah, you stuttery Simon.
You're poisoning people with your nonsense about all things going down. Do you not understand that there's clouds? You haven't answered.
I never said everything goes down.
So what are you proving?
What do you mean what am I proving? I'm proving that you're an absolute incompetent...
Sorry, you don't need to insult me when I ask about your claim that you haven't made yet.
I'm here to fucking...
You're here to stutter and swear, Jimmy. Now make your claim.
My claim is that Nathan's a liar.
Oh, well, I'll just mute you while you decide to ad hom me because you haven't even got a claim by the sounds of things. Dell doesn't even have a claim. Doesn't even have a positive assertion to make by the looks of things.
This is exactly when he came with the apologetics. I didn't say anything.
Can we get a little order?
Forget that.
Guys,
Forget that.
Dell is on the mic. We are yet to hear his claim. We don't need a colour commentary.
The motion of density, that being up and down, where dense objects go down and less dense materials go upwards, requires a mechanism. That's my claim.
Relative density.
Right, why? That's fascinating. Proving what? That's your claim? That's really interesting.
Here's the thing. Oh, my bad. The man of funny speaking. My bad.
Well, I'm asking you why you're telling us that. What does that prove?
See, the thing is, stupidly, I thought there would be an opportunity for an actual discussion here. But I knew you would be that weak and triggered, Nathan, that you would have to...
Okay, he's going to insult me again. He said some things go up, some things down. There's a mechanism for that, what I've just described. Okay, I'm now asking in response, what the hell does that prove? Response from Dell, a load of string of insults. What does that prove? Try again.
What do you mean, what does that prove? I'm trying to have a discussion.
So what does this prove?
What do you mean, what does it prove?
I mean, why should this hold any interest for me whatsoever? My bad, am I talking, Jimmy? Yeah, that's me in the middle of a sentence there, Jimmy, while you talk straight through me, Jimmy.
And make demands.
Yeah, that means shut up. I'm asking you what this proves. Third time's a charm. And you're just yabbering through me. Can't seem to hold your tongue while I repeat for the fourth time. What does this prove?
It proves that you're a lying piece of shit.
So he can't actually tell you what it proves, gentlemen. Not so confident about his upward moving Earth after all. You'd think it would be proving something to do with his bullshit claim that Earth moves up. Outrageous nonsense that he spews. But instead it just proves Nathan's stupid. Wow.
That's why your apologies ain't worth shit, Dell.
Yeah, you're very confident about your upward moving Earth. So some things go down, some things go up. You're making a claim that there's a, mechanism involved. That's a far cry from proving Earth moves up, Dell. You're not seeing the detachment from your nonsense that doesn't prove anything to your outrageous claim that you don't seem to want to make. You just want to tell people I'm silly on my own show. Yeah, you can try that, sunshine. It just won't work here. I'll point out how silly you are, because Earth doesn't need to go up to counteract you down when clouds are going up. We've already covered this. But you don't seem to want to make your outrageous claim here. Just talk through me non-stop.
Fanny, you're a wee fanny, and I'm going to keep exposing you, son.
You're not exposing anything except for your own idiocy here, Dell.
Potential energies, there's a positive claim from Nathan that nobody...
Sorry, did you think that you could just shout through me on this show, Dell? Is that how you think it works?
That's what you do, you fucking wank.
Okay,
when
you've got control of your anger issues, your emotional problems, and your daddy issues, we'll have a little conversation about what this proves when I get to ask you for a fourth time.
Can you prove that objects...
Why am I proving anything? This isn't my claim, sunshine. Are you not getting the don't ask me about what I'm not claiming part? Are you thick? Do you not understand? I don't have to answer your questions here, Dell. You're the one with an upward rising Earth. Get to proving it.
No, I'm not here to fucking defend anything like that.
Well, why are you here then? Get lost if you're not here to defend anything. You've come to me to prove your stupid upward rising Earth with there is a mechanism involved with relative density disequilibrium. How fascinating. You have a claim about there being a mechanism involved. Meanwhile, I'm under the misapprehension, clearly, that you were saying Earth was rising up.
Yep.
Well, then you're a clown, Dell. And I told you if you came here, I'd point that out to you. You're a clown. Earth's not moving up and having a claim about there being a mechanism.
It's fucking moving, yeah.
You wanted to talk through me while I humiliate you? Is that going to get around the embarrassment of me pointing out how stupid it is to have a claim about a mechanism and use that claim about a mechanism in relative density disequilibrium to claim that Earth's moving up? Stupid, Dell. Very silly.
What this does is show how incompetent you are and incapable.
So I would expect you to respond by proving Earth moves up to that, not just start ad-homming me again. It's a pretty sad state of affairs.
Nathan.
That's my name, don't wear it out. I'm the one humiliating you, Dell, that's right.
You're not humiliating Andy, son. You couldn't...
So again, I would expect this to be the opportunity for you to prove your stupid nonsense about Earth moving up rather than talking about the host. You see, a confident man with a good claim that he can prove would be proving it over and over again, rather than attacking the host.
You capable of having a discussion or no?
Yeah, how do you think in your right mind that having a claim about there being a mechanism for relative density proves Earth's moving up?
If you can have a discussion, we would get...
We were. I asked you a question, and then you've repeated your statement about us not having a discussion. It seems like you don't have anything, Dell.
Nathan, true science...
Yeah, that's my name. Don't tell me to prove anything. I'm not making a claim, Dell. 5th time's a charm.
True science and...
No. You're claiming Earth moves up, and you're asking me to prove something with science. I don't have a claim here, Dell. You do. Clown.
Okay. Objects move because you give them potential energies, a claim.
And therefore Earth's moving up?
Can you...
Stutter for me, you stupid buffoon. That's right, Stammery Simon. Your absurd claims being pulled apart for how absurd it is here. That's right.
What's the energy?
So why are you asking me? Did I make a claim about energy? No, Mr. Earth's rising up, you stupid clown. Yeah. You need to prove that stupid nonsense. I'm not making a claim for you to ask me any questions about. I nipped that in the bud immediately, didn't I, Dell?
Objects are given potential energy.
That's fascinating. Therefore, Earth's rising up.
Explain. Earth is in motion, you absolute ignorant fucking
Oh, so I need it swearing at me? That sounds almost as good as a proof. So just barking your baseless assertion at me isn't proof, Dell. Especially when you swear, it just makes you seem weak.
Earth is in motion.
You keep barking it. Maybe if you keep jabbering it like a parrot, some of the idiots that don't realise you've got nothing to back this other than attacking the host.
Let me show you let me show you why. Earth is provably in motion. I can show you why. I've been silenced.
We're waiting for you to show us why. Are you dumb?
So,
is that a yes? I can show you why. Massive silence. Then, oh, there's a silence. Yeah, Clown Shoes. We're waiting for you to show us how.
So density gradients can be recreated utilising motion. Relative density disequilibrium was a claim that was made that explains...
Sorry, stuttery Simon, did you have to make it for the 5th time that I made a claim when I've made it explicitly clear that I'm not? Do you need this false dichotomy to fight against, Dell, when I've already nipped it in the bud immediately? You just need to stutter your way into this false dichotomy when I haven't allowed it, do you? Have you only got this little repertoire? Only a one-trick pony, only know how to fight this argument from the position of false dichotomy, Dell, right? Hello, I am not making a claim for you to fight against here, Dell. Hello? Do you need to clear your throat some more? You get that catarrh out of your gob. You don't have a positive claim from me to put in false dichotomy, Dell. Only your absurd nonsense that Earth's moving up. I'm not a glober with gravity, and I'm not making any positive claims. Relative density disequilibrium has no positive claim attached to it from me. It's just you who needs to prove your nonsense of Earth moving up.
Was I finished speaking? Sorry, I thought I was still speaking there when some wee idiotic...
I just think you're stammering and stuttering rather than proving Earth moves up.
Just because you're interrupting me every fucking 2 seconds, you fucking weak bastard. You're incapable of fucking discussion.
Sorry, you tell me I'm interrupting you after literally only 2.5 minutes ago asking about the stony silence when you didn't prove your nonsense, correct?
What nonsense, Nathan?
You saying we're not having a discussion when I ask you a question and you start swearing at me, or you saying that I keep interrupting when you've just literally let a massive silence go by after declaring you can prove Earth moves up. Okay? Are we clear?
Are you finished?
Do you need another massive, long, protracted silence for you to get on with proving Earth moves up?
I'll just expose you fucking mind while you're just a...
That's excellent proof of Earth moving up. Dell's just exposed Nathan Oakley, who has taken away his false dichotomy argument, it seems. So he's got nothing. There's that long protracted silence again, ladies and gentlemen. Has he run away with his tail between his legs because he doesn't have a false dichotomy to argue against? It would appear so.
This is so obvious. It's like, Dell, you come in and say I can squat 700. And now you're saying Dell's telling everybody his claim is I can't squat 700.
No, it's not what's happening.
So you need to squat 700. Prove it. Squat it.
Out of interest, during that, just before, hello, guys in G+.
I'm trying to give Dell a simple explanation.
We don't need it, D-Rose. What we need is for Dell to be able to make
Give him the respect to speak, though, please.
Come on.
I agree.
What about you? Let him, D-Rose, just make his point, not spoken. We're jumping on him. Just make the point, D-Rose.
D-Rose, you're going to have to discipline yourself in the G+ hangout, right? Let's just get what happened clear. I had to immediately close the line to G+ down because presumably D-Rose just rumpused every bit of the discussion, deciding he had points to make. Correct? I just had to close the line, G+. That meant that everybody in the panel suffered because I had to close that line because of you. So you couldn't take part in the discussion. Any of you. Fun? Can't do that, D-Rose. You can't just decide that you're going to open your mic and blart through a discussion between me and Dell. That's just not fair. There are appropriate moments, but as the new guy in that hangout, I don't expect the first time a guest comes on that's going to create a decent discussion for me to have to immediately close the line down and then have to tell you off on a live show for it. Come on. The whole panel are trying to tell you to stop talking through the discussion we were having, right? Correct?
Sort of.
Well, it has to be relevant.
Insert something, but yeah.
It has to be relevant. If you're going to say something, it has to be relevant.
Go on, Brian, sorry.
Can I say something? Look, Dell has come here to have the conversation, right? He's actually made a point of coming here. Now, I understand you and Dell may not get along, but he's made a point of coming here to have the conversation. So there's no point in anyone attacking him or personally or trying to slag him off or anything else. He's come here to have the conversation. Allow the man to have the conversation.
I did.
He's also a flat earther who's been around for years.
I did. You guys couldn't hear it if you were rumpused by D-Rose, so, you'll have to go back and have a listen to the conversation we did have. But when Dell's asking me, after stating explicitly that he can prove his points, and then I close all lines so there is total silence and zero chance of any interruption, and then 5-10 seconds go by and he goes, so the silence then? What, after your statement that you could prove your nonsense? Yeah, that's right, Dell. You say you can prove stuff, then there's a long protracted silence. But according to the chat, I didn't let Dell talk. All right, I'll trim out Dell saying I can prove my nonsense, and then the massive protracted silence when no one interrupted him and he didn't prove it. Okay, chat?
That's not my point. My point is that the tone of the whole thing is not of a conversation. He came in to have a conversation, and that's not the tone of the thing.
Sorry,
the tone
why
of
are
the
you
thing
saying
is
this
a
to
battle.
me? No. No, what he came in and started doing was telling me what I was claiming, and I stopped him.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Nathan. Anyone's going to pre-assume that you claim that you make claims about relative density disequilibrium. Anyone's going to pre-assume that because the whole thing has been detailed on this show.
I don't care.
And Anthony Riley.
Don't care.
Yeah, but the point is they're going to pre-assume that.
You're saying I should tolerate it for it to be a reasonable discussion where he doesn't immediately get narky with me because I say I'm not making that claim. Because I'm not making that claim. But he wants me to be making that claim, and for it to be a nice civil discussion, I should accept when he says I make that claim that he sets up that false dichotomy. Fuck that, Brian.
Yeah, I know, you're okay. I understand your point, and you can make that point. But the problem is that it became more of a battle than a conversation. You could have just as easily said to him, I'm actually not claiming anything about relative density.
I did.
You're here. Yeah, but Nathan, you turned it into a battle. It was not a conversation anymore.
Well, when he started saying that I was being exposed, when I asked him to prove that things go down or things don't all go down in his next statement, they sometimes go up. When I asked him to prove that that is linked to Earth moving up, he started saying that he was exposing me as a host. You think that was me disseminating the discussion by not being tolerable enough, correct?
No,
Yeah,
no.
he started it.
All your points were correct. One second, Howard. All your points, I understood and were correct, right? It's just that it was becoming triggering. If I was on the other end of the line, I would have got triggered.
I understand. If you were talking total nonsense about Earth rising up and you had absolutely sod all proof other than to stack it up in false dichotomy, and I pointed that out to you, you too would get very cross very quickly, just like Dell did. I understand.
Yes, exactly. I would too. That's why I don't do that. I don't take the position that Dell takes. And I try to warn him about it many times, and he just doesn't listen.
Yeah, I said you'd come here and I'd laugh at you, Dell, for your stupid nonsense clown shoes assertions that Earth's moving up. And that's exactly what happened. Now, we on the panel can call it a battle, but let's not pretend what happened didn't happen the way it did. Which is that you came with a clown shoes assertion that Earth's moving up based on your positive claim that there's a mechanism involved in relative density disequilibrium. You see, that sounds like quite a long string of words for an assertion that you're apparently making that is not in any way linked to an outrageous assertion that Earth moves up. And when offered the opportunity, you left dead air and silence and questioned why there was nobody talking. Let's just be clear about what happened here, okay? Now I'm going to have another laugh at you for it, because it was utterly absurd. You in no way proved that Earth was moving up when you ad hommed me and told me that you were exposing me to my own audience. Okie dokie. That weren't proving Earth moves up, Dell. Yeah, it proved you're a clown and have nothing. Just as we all expected.
I understand all that. And I'm not saying any of your points were wrong. I understand also Dell's position. He's actually made a point of coming in here to a whole group of people, right? And Dell is normally an angry kind of a guy, but he kept it together pretty well. He kept calm pretty well. I thought he would have started losing the head with you earlier. Now, I understand what you were doing. I understand your points. I understand why you were doing what you were doing. But I would have gone about it in a different direction. I would have started asking him about what it is that he's claiming immediately.
Okay, well, we've got XB Backfire in the chat says, I just wanted to hear his claim, take it apart after. We did. I asked him multiple occasions to give me his claim specifically, and his claim was that there is a mechanism involved with relative density disequilibrium. Then I gave him another half a dozen opportunities to show how that claim proved something. He didn't give me anything when I asked him to specifically tie it to proof. And then I specifically gave him an opportunity to tie what he had claimed here to his proof that Earth moved up. And again, he didn't do that either. So he did make his claims. I really tried hard to get him to make them and drag them out of him, whilst batting off him making claims for me. You know, I shut that crap down quickly and told him off for it. I really enjoyed doing it, Dell. Shutting you down, telling you off. It was good fun. Yeah? Yeah, you don't make claims on my behalf so that you can snap him up in false dichotomy. You just come with your claim, which I asked for 6 times, and then you have it ripped to shreds. And when your claim is there's a mechanism involved in relative density disequilibrium, therefore Earth's moving up, you're going to get laughed at. Now, if people don't catch what your claim is, maybe they're not catching me asking over and over again, what is your claim, really clearly? Maybe they didn't catch that because they're on Dell's side and think Earth's moving up. But for those of you who did catch me really clearly asking him what the hell you're claiming and what the hell it proves, they'll hear his responses. And no, he's got nothing but his stupid baseless assertion that Earth moves up to stack up in false dichotomy with a claim he needs me or a glober to be making so he can fight amongst them. I didn't give him that opportunity, and as a result, he didn't know what the hell to do. He only knows that trick. He only knows how to present his argument stacked up in false dichotomy. And I know how he operates, so I took it off him immediately. No, Dell, I'm not making a claim here for you to stack up in false dichotomy. Not that I said it in those terms, but I could have done. Because when he's in a position where he hasn't got an opponent's position to argue against, his position suddenly glares with stupidity.
to the point where he has to tell my audience that he's exposing me, rather than proving his stupid claim that he's not getting lost in the weeds of what I claim versus what he claims. Because when I take away what I claim, because I haven't bloody claimed anything, let's get that clear, he's only got his stupid baseless assertion to defend, and he didn't do well, did he?
I understood why you did what you did and the way you did what you did it. The tone of it was only going to trigger a situation with him. So I would have taken a different tone if I was taking that route. Right, that's right. But that's besides the point. You did what you did. Is your show, your choice, your life. But I don't think Dell is a dishonest person. I've listened to Dell on and off since I think 2015 is when I first came across it. That's 8 years ago. And I've heard him get angry on many, many occasions. And someone who is dishonest doesn't go around getting angry all the time. But I know this because I get angry. I might hide it more than Dell, but I get angry just as often. Because when you're dealing with a lot of dishonesty and from people that on the opposing side, and rubbish and schemes. Now, I don't think Dell has a scheme. I do know he's wrong in what he's claiming, but I don't think he has a scheme. He's also a flat earther, although now he's claiming it's rising up the way. He's still a flat earther. He's still been around for years, and he's not a dishonest person. If that was one of the ballers who were coming in with one of their little low-life schemes, that'd be different. Now, I understand he had a tactic, right? And his tactic was to say to you, well, this is your claim, this is my claim, and suddenly false dichotomy. Fair enough, I understand that, right?
Well, and that's not dishonest. All the stuff I've heard, I'd have to use the phrase, what I'm witnessing in all this community is certain people being very dishonest and disingenuous in how they deal with each other. I don't need to make a personal attack, but the way Dell's presenting himself is not honest. It's not truth seeking, is it? It's trying to make his point at the cost of the truth. Yeah, I'm not interested in finding the truth. We listen to what's just gone off. Yeah, that was not in no way a truthful and non-deceptive bit of chat. It was highly deceitful, wasn't it? Trying to win your point. Doesn't really matter what the point is, as long as you can win. That's all we're pursuing. I'm getting sick of listening to this crap. These people demonstrate their motivations by the behaviour, as this afternoon, yeah? Dell, for whatever he's done in the past, respect. But what he's doing now, yeah, is what? Destroying all the work, the good work he's done, yeah? And making the movement look like a bunch of squabbling children that can't even hold a proper conversation. Listen to the way that descended. When Nathan was trying to keep it on track to actually discussing a point, what happened? That, to me, is deceptive.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
All these people for years were never angry. They never hear them getting angry out of borders. You never hear them getting angry because they know that what they're churning out is nonsense. They might start getting nasty, but they don't get angry. You can only get angry when you actually have passion and belief. Doesn't matter if that's wrong. If what you're shouting is wrong, if you believe it and then you're passionate about it, that's when you'll get angry.
So you don't think that what Dell did was actually kind of nasty? Just straight out like...
Yeah, it was like that.
That was nasty. Come on, and it was completely unnecessary. It was an action out of weakness, obvious. But it's nasty. It's the same thing the ballers did. They do it all the time.
I think that anyone will come here, though. If Dell doesn't listen to the show all the time, which I don't think he does, I would say he definitely doesn't because of because of where he's after getting to with his claims. That he would just pre-assume that Nathan claims relative density disequilibrium and just start from that point. Now,
it doesn't matter. Like Nathan didn't go there, but it doesn't matter either way because, like, what the fuck is the point, right? Oh, what causes the relative density disequilibrium? Well, you're talking about the thing that happens because of the disequilibrium of the density. So that's the mechanism. It's totally pointless. Like his question is just like, yeah, it's relative density. Relative density is the answer. You're asking about something within relative density. What causes that? Well, relative density, because that's what it is.
Well, the mechanism
going
is
on, guys?
matter itself. Hey, Chocolate.
What's up, Chocolate?
The mechanism is matter itself. If there isn't enough density of matter, right, below something, whether it be a helium balloon or anything else, it will go down. That's the way it is. Helium balloons go down in vacuums. Why do they go down in vacuums? There's no medium to give them any buoyancy or support of any kind.
Well, it's just the rubber going down. It's not the is it the helium going down or the rubber?
Well, the helium that's contained within the material. See, why does the material with the helium inside of it go up? Because the overall density is less than the density of the air. If it didn't have the helium in it, the material will go down in air.
It's the
but
average
in a vacuum,
density. It's average density of a contained object.
Yeah. In a vacuum, the helium balloon goes down because there's no buoyancy whatsoever that can be given to it because there's no medium. There's no lift. There's no support of any kind, so it's going to go down. And now, if you break the balloon open, which will happen if the pressure in the vacuum keeps going down, then it's going to fill the chamber. The gas will always fill the chamber, right? But
From the top down or from the bottom up?
The point I'm making is the mechanism for why something goes up or goes down is due to the amount of support it has.
Well, it looks like the helium is always going up.
matter.
That's all. It doesn't look like the helium's ever going down. The balloon is going down. It doesn't look like the helium's ever going down.
Yeah, but the helium balloon, I did say helium balloon. A helium balloon in a vacuum. And I'm using that specifically because that helium balloon, right, concentrated helium inside a material, right, the overall density of that, the helium and the material of the balloon, is less dense than the air. But in a vacuum, there is no medium, so the balloon goes down.
The material the balloon is made of is called rubber.
Well, sometimes it's not rubber; it's other things. There's some other material they use, like a Teflon or something. Not a Teflon, a type of an aluminium.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go on.
The guy from Discord, did you say helium doesn't go down?
Does it? That's what I was asking.
Yeah, it
looks
does.
like the helium's always going up.
No.
Even in the vacuum chamber, just the balloon is going down.
No, you're mixing up two things. Helium in a balloon, that system is different to helium in the respect to what helium will just do if you introduce it to any space. It's just a gas. So it'll just do as any other gas does. It'll just expand in all directions.
That's talking shite, Nathan.
So it'll just expand in all directions.
Absolute fucking weak cunt.
Like, sorry, gas expands. So meanwhile, my panel immediately gets triggered after being told off earlier. So gas expands in all directions, though, including down, up, left, right.
What's that got to do with the shape of the earth? Double standards is always for you, you cunt. Always double standards for you. Constant double standards. You're a wee hypocrite, son.
The guy
You're going to account for your claims. Are you going to actually have a discussion with me, or are you going to keep acting like a wee scared girl and running about screaming?
The guy asserted, in respect to a question he asked, about whether or not helium goes down.
Obviously, he's muted me again, the cunt.
Right, do you need to? Do you need to keep swearing to me while I clarify that a guy asked a question and I answered it, so that he?
Are you hearing me? Sorry.
Sorry, I was just answering you. My bad. You feel the need to talk through me continually. I know from the live show.
Sorry, I apologise. I'm just trying to get proper, like, manly communication between rational beings. I'm actually being heard now. Aye.
Call that rational communication?
Really? Well, listen, I came in and tried to have a discussion, because that's what science is about. That's what rationality is about. Just having a discussion. No somebody acting triggered and making demands of me. I'm just trying to be an honest man and lay out where my position actually is. But there's this constant attack and defend nonsense going on. This is no true science, true objective inquiry. Let's just have a discussion and comprehend the position and why I hold the position. You're acting like I've made some erratic, irrational fucking claim. It's totally logical, and I can take you through the steps in order for you to comprehend it. But you don't seem to be willing to want to try and comprehend what the position is.
I see. I was under the impression, maybe I'm wrong, that you have an absolutely outrageous claim that Earth is moving up, that the physical ground I'm standing is moving up, which is utterly absurd and outrageous and requires proof. Am I wrong about
that's
that?
It. Well, listen, about proof and stuff, as I've explained before, and maybe...
My question is, am I right or wrong about that? I thought we could have manly discussions. Clearly not.
I'm trying to explain it to you, but you're not...
Yes or no? Do you claim that outrageous claim that Earth, the ground I'm standing on, is moving up? It's a simple yes or no question to keep this manly discussion moving forward.
Here we go again. Here we go again.
What, were you not fucking answering me, Jimmy? Yeah, you're not fucking answering me, sunshine. You need to keep clearing your fucking throat, Jimmy.
It's a bad week for you or something?
No, I've asked you 15 times. What's your malfunction? Yeah, is your outrageous claim that the ground I'm standing on is moving up? It's a simple yes or no question to move the discussion forward. Your outrageous claim just needs clarifying with a yes or no.
I mean, this is Nathan's tactic.
It's just you stuttering, sunshine.
Oh, go and change your tampon.
No, stop stuttering and just say yes or no. Earth moving up, Jimmy?
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, he can't. He needs to have a little discussion from the sidelines about his brew that he's getting. Yeah, this is wonderful proof for your outrageous claim that Earth moves up while you sort out your brew.
Hey, do dense objects accelerate towards Earth? Yes or no?
Right, I'm talking to Dell.
Okay, well, now I'm asking you a question. Do dense objects accelerate towards Earth? Yes or no?
Was I making a claim about it?
I don't know. I'm asking you a question.
I'm gonna stutter your way through the fact that I'm not making a bloody claim about it, sunshine. Hello?
So you can't answer a simple...
Am I making a claim about it? Yes or no? Are you dumb?
Yes, you have made a claim about it numerous times.
All right, what was my claim, Dell? All right.
I've got it recorded, the claim being made numerous times.
What was my claim?
He does make that claim.
What was my claim?
He doesn't want to account for it. He wants to keep avoiding it.
Yeah, I'm giving you the opportunity to put those words in my mouth. We'll see if you're right. What was my claim?
People have asked you about things being going down to the earth, and you say when you move it off the table, you give it potential energy to go towards the earth, or when you pick an object up, you give it potential energy, and that makes it go back to the earth. You make that claim continually. I don't know why you're acting like you don't.
Right, and I'm proving what with that claim?
Proving that you're into pseudoscience and fucking gibberish.
Right, before you start swearing again, I'm saying in context, you don't seem to have put a quote mark around that claim, but there we go. What was I claiming to prove when I said that?
You're claiming that's why things go back to the earth when...
What, like clouds? Like clouds?
Never mind clouds.
Never mind the things that don't go towards the sky. Just focus on the things I say go down. I don't make this claim, Dell. It sounds like you're lying about things I say. Give me a quote. Put the words I said in that regard into a quote, please.
No people can see that.
Stutter for me, bitch. I am going to call you a liar if you can't put the words you say I have claimed into a quote in the next 10 seconds.
What do you mean put it into a quote?
It means quote the words I used by starting with the word quote and then the verbatim words I used to make the claim you said I made and then end it by saying end quote. Do you not know how to quote somebody when you say I've made a claim about something? Quote me.
What? The things fell off the table because you touched them and you gave them potential energy?
Sorry, it's I gave them potential energy, a quote. Do you not understand what a quote is, Dell? If I've said it, I want quote marks around it. Go.
Quote, when you touch stuff, you give it potential energy and that makes it fall. End quote.
I have not said that string of fucking words in that fucking order, you fucking lying clown. You will never find those fucking words in that order, you lying cunt bastard piece of shit. You laugh about your lying cunt nature, do you, Dell? You've just put a quote around something I did not say, making you a liar. Dell, from the Beyond the Imaginary Curve YouTube channel, is a liar.
Thank you for the recordings, Nathan. I've got you recorded claiming it. Now I've got you.
Now let's hear that recording of me saying those words verbatim.
Yep, I've got it recorded plenty.
Let's hear those words said in that order verbatim on the recording. You gonna laugh like the lying shit that you are? Lying. He hasn't got a recording. The man is a lying bastard. All he's got is to laugh at me. No, he does not have a recording of those words. Those words have never crossed my lips. He does not have a recording. Dell is a lying bastard. Meanwhile, this is in lieu of him proving Earth moves up and that all things go down as per a quote he hasn't got from me. When I rebut my own claim to be quote by pointing out that clouds go up and he says we should ignore them. You're a lying piece of shit, Dell.
There's another claim, clouds go up.
Sorry, another one. What about the quote that you had a recording of? You lying piece of shit. Let's hear the recording.
You'll see the recording, you'll hear the recording when I show that part.
No, I'll hear it now because you've got the recording, and lest you want to be labelled a lying bastard, you'll play the recording to prove you're not a lying bastard. As it stands, I, the person who is claimed to be quoted, am making it incredibly clear that those words have not crossed my lips. You are a lying fuck.
No worries. So, once you've changed your tampon, maybe you can...
Do you think tampons are a recording of me saying those words you've lied about, you lying scum that can't prove Earth's moving up? Your outrageous claim we're trying to segue away from with this personal attack and lies about things I haven't said, so you can position your false dichotomy argument for the third time, because you need me to be making a claim that I haven't made, and you're prepared to lie about quotes I haven't said so that you can have your false dichotomy one-trick pony argument.
See if you ask one of your trusted partners here at your...
About what? About Earth moving up? About that outrageous claim you're here to prove? About that? Should I ask them about that, Dell? Maybe I should be asking them about that rather than you, the one with the outrageous claim that you can't prove. I need to talk about my tampons?
Nathan the Gish Galloper.
A Gish Galloper who lies about quotes I've got recorded of me saying things about claims you need to be stacking up in false dichotomy. Lying bastard. Is that all you got? When I call you a liar, to laugh. No, not live. Laugh, but laugh. We're not live anymore.
Prove you a liar, son, and I'm going to show...
You said I've got a quote from Nathan, and then you said quote, and then said words I've never said, in an order I've never said them, and then said end quote around words I'd never said, claiming I'd said them, making you a liar.
Okay.
Yeah, then you said you got a recording of me saying it, and you haven't produced it, further compounding your lies.
This is part...
This is you stuttering after being called a liar by me, you stuttering scum.
This is your self-entitled narcissism where you demand...
My narcissism when I haven't put quote marks around things you haven't said and said I've got recordings of you saying them. That's my narcissistic behaviour, calling out your lies about quotes I haven't said, about proof for a false dichotomy argument you need to have with me, about a claim I haven't made, so that you can make an absurd claim seem silly in stacking up against your claim that's equally absurd that Earth moves up. Yeah, I know the game, Dell.
No, you don't. You're
No, I know you're stuttering, though, don't I, stutterer? I know when people are fucked, they start stuttering down their microphone, Dell, just like you're doing.
You're scared of my intelligence.
Oh, I'm fearful of your quotes in recorded form that you've lied about me saying.
It's not a lie.
Sorry, is that intelligent to lie about things I haven't said and claim you've got recordings of them? Is that intelligence?
They're on my channel, Nathan. You can go...
So you can play them right now then, can't you, Dal, if you've got them on your channel?
Give me a second and I'll go and get it then.
Excellent.
Good.
You don't seem to be getting them. You seem to be sat laughing down your microphone. There's going to be a long, protracted silence while we wait for Dell to show his videos and play them of me saying things I've never said.
There's
that stutter again, bitch! How do you like the taste of my balls, Dale?
You've not got any balls.
Have you been stuttering much while you're supposed to be getting recordings of me saying things I'm calling you a liar about? And I'd know, because I know things I've said, Dal. You, on the other hand, claim to have recordings of them that you're laughing about not getting.
You get a wee fanny, son. You've no go.
Sorry, is this you getting the recording that you're trying to segue away from?
No, but if you can calm your...
If you can stutter your way around it, you'll get away from the lies you've told. Or laugh your way away from the lies you've told about quotes I haven't said. Now you're cornered, Dell, and you're gonna be proven a liar. Unless you get that recording that you're trying to segue away from.
Try to find it, you fucking idiot.
Oh, really? I would have expected someone quoting somebody verbatim to have the recording to hand.
My video's a lot long, I'm trying to...
Oh, really? You're going to come up with a load of miserable excuses for your lies that you can't defend?
I hope everybody hears how idiotic this cretin is.
What, I ask for a proof of your claim that I've said something that you've got a recording of and you not producing it?
You're a plastic prick, son.
Sorry, is that you producing the recording? You want to tell my audience that I hope they hear you calling me a plastic prick when not defending your lies?
You're on my channel, I'm not going to...
Oh, you're not my channel, son. You can look for my lies yourself. I don't need to prove I've got a recording. I can just fucking say I've got one and call you plastic. No, son. That will get you called a lying fuck. And that's all there is to it, Dell. It's all you've got.
Nathan, I'm just recording all this and then I'm going to highlight your...
Oh, really? And now you're going to use that I'm recording all this stuff? I'm recording you doing this. What, asking for proof of your lies? Well done. I look forward to you publishing you being called out for not having a recording that you've said you've got. And then laughing about it every time I point it out.
It's hysterical. I could fucking laugh at
Yeah, you can, but you could also be getting a recording to stop me calling you a lying fuck every time I refer to you from here on forward, because you don't have that recording, do you, Dal? You're just a lying shit that needs to lie about quotes I haven't said so you can stack up that quote I haven't said in false dichotomy.
Nathan just makes...
Nathan's got me stuttering like a fucking stammering wanker. Yeah, you're stuttering like a man being raped.
You're the one that gets raped.
Yeah, you want to tell me about my tampon again while you don't get a recording to stop you being a lying scum, which you have been proven to be? Meanwhile, Dell is definitely not proving Earth is moving up or supplying evidence for Earth moving up or providing positive claims to back his assertion that is utterly outrageous. The Earth's moving up. He hasn't got that. What he's got is to come and do this. Yeah? Cause a bit of chaos. Start swearing and lying about quotes rather than proving his outrageous claim that Earth moves up. That is something he is not doing.
You're on task, you wee knob. I'm going to show it. Scared of the conversation. You're terrified to actually have a discussion about this. You're so fucking triggered, son. It's beyond fucking belief. Absolute fucking knob end. Just wait till he gets fucking shown his wee contradictory, hypocritical fucking statements. You fall into the trap so fucking easily, you absolute woman.
Still no answer on what dense objects do.
Right, I had Dal say I'm going to show it. Then there was that long protracted silence and a load of ad homs. He said I'm going to show it. That outrageous claim that Earth moves up.
Nathan.
Is this my opportunity to get talked through by you after Dell gets his little rant about what he's going to show? He said he's going to show it. I say he's got an outrageous claim for Earth moving up. Dell says he's going to show it and then talks about me for about 30 seconds. Then there's a silence. Where's him showing it?
This is so corny.
How about dense objects, Nathan? Did they go down?
Did I make a claim about it? Another
go
one-trick
down
pony
before
that's now going to get
grabbing
removed from the
point?
conversation. We already had this conversation, you stupid idiot.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it's
you
interesting
can't
you say
answer.
that because asbestos fibers are denser than air, and they don't go down. Clouds are denser than the air around them, and they don't go down. What are you talking about? More dense objects going down?
He's obviously got a claim he doesn't want to make about it. Meanwhile, I haven't made a claim about it, and I don't care. It doesn't prove anything in the respect to the nature of our existence on a flat plane versus being on a sphere flying through a vacuum or on a plane flying up, which is so stupid that it requires distraction. You know, attacking hosts, calling them plastic, asking them if they've taken out the tampons. You know, that's what you need when you've got that kind of level of outrageous claim. Because you're definitely not going to be proving it. You can just attack hosts
Nathan,
and stuff.
he's got an experiment. I heard him on his show. Say he's got an experiment. He dropped the bottle out the window. I don't have to talk.
Oh, that's not an experiment. I mean, that's the kind of idiotic nonsense we get from ballers where they think that throwing bottles out of windows are experiments, you know, not setting up a hypothesis and validating it through variation of a presumed cause and effect you saw in nature. This effect is a manufactured effect that idiots would develop by throwing things out of windows. You know, these are man-made effects that are then questioned after they've made them. I mean, the effect would be that we can ignore the clouds like Jimmy told us. You know, when I pointed out the clouds go up after he lied about a quote I haven't said. And I said, no, clouds would be contradicting that quote you made up and lied about having a recording of. Clouds go up. And then, like now, he thought it was his opportunity to interrupt after lots of protracted silences with him saying, I'll show it. And then him not doing that, but continuing to attack me.
Oh, you see that?
This is what Dell's got for you, by the way. He's muttering down his mic while it's open. That's the level of his proof for moving Earth up. That's his proof. Muttering.
Keep talking, Nathan. Keep it coming, son. I love it.
Okay, excellent. Dell is a complete idiot, deceiving his audience and conning money out of them and conning them out of their time and generally conning them with lies, like he's lied about me. Saying things I haven't said so he can snap them up in false dichotomy. Just a lying shit. Just that's all he is. Just a liar. It is that simple. When asked to prove Earth moves up, which is utterly outrageous, he mutters and fumbles around his mic and gets a brew from his wife. That's what Dell's doing. That's his standards. What has he actually done here other than cause a bit of commotion, say he's going to expose me? Yeah? After apologising initially? What? That's what you've got to prove Earth moves up? It's pathetic, Dell. You're an embarrassment. Want more? You said you were good with this, Dell. Want more? I think you're stupid and I laugh at you. Sorry, I thought you wanted more. You're enjoying this, right, Dell? I laugh at you because of how stupid I think you are with your upward moving Earth and your arguments that you think you're going to win with arguments about how people behave like you've done here to prove Earthward moving up. No? You think exposing me is proving that, do you, Dumbo? It's laughable. It's stupid. And I think your audience are idiotic for watching you. The fact that they haven't all abandoned you is embarrassing for them. They should all be unsubscribing from you for how stupid you are. You're lowering their intelligence level when they listen to you and your absurd claims about Earth moving up, Dell, which are thick, like stupid people level claims. Yeah? That's what I think. You're still enjoying yourself, Dell. I think you should get lost with your stupid claims. Stop poisoning an audience. I mean, I don't care, you know, do what you like on your own bloody channel. I'm glad that a lot of them don't come here, because they're clearly too dumb to be here, like you are too dumb to be here. Stupid,
They just see you for what you are. They just see you for what you are, Nathan. You're a clown. You don't have a clue what you're talking about, son. You're low.
I'm not talking about, I've got no claim here, Dell. You're the one claiming Earth moves up, clown shoes.
Well, let me. If you were able to have an actual discussion, you would know the reasoning behind that.
If I were able, which part of the stutter and incoherent fragment of a sentence did you want me to answer, Dell? Yeah, you're a stuttering clown shoes, Dell. That's what you've been reduced to here. That's correct.
Nathan, see when you see me in person, we'll see who's stuttering, son.
Are you threatening me now, are you, sunshine, rather than offering proof for Earth moves up? He's disseminated to I'll punch you. Right? We'll see you stuttering. Dell, if you're in front of me, I'd laugh in your face. Like, literally, to the point where my saliva would be spreading on you because of how much I was laughing at how stupid your face was in person when I told you how absurd your claim was, right looking at you in the eye and laughing while I did it. And I'd hope you punched me as a result. Yeah? I'd hope you punched me. To show everyone around that rather than providing some evidence for your Earth moving up, you've got your anger to show for it. That's all you've got.
Do you know my position, Neil? Do you know why I'm in the...
Do I know that you're stuttering while I understand that we should ignore the clouds going up? Sorry, you want to move on with the discussion, Dell? Yes, I understand. You want to get back into it. Yeah, we got to the point where you told me, when you lied about a quote I hadn't said, that we should ignore the clouds going up. That was your last position in the discussion that you want to get away from with ad homs. That's where we're at.
Nathan, you keep denying.
You keep stuttering when I get back on track. Where we're at is clouds being ignored because they go up. That's what you told me last.
Because you're interrupting continually. That's why, you keep making these claims and you've made them several times.
No, you stated in rebuttal that we should ignore the clouds going up. Those were your words.
Bitch, I wasn't finished speaking, bitch, okay?
I heard what you said. I'm getting us back on to what you said when you told me explicitly to ignore the clouds.
Yeah, how do they taste? That's my balls, Dell. Would I be stuttering in person? No, Dell, I'd be right up in your ugly mug telling you you're stupid, and you wouldn't be able to do a damn thing about it while I laughed at you, my friend.
Sigh? Is that what you got? You're going to sigh at me? Where we're at is you telling me that we're going to ignore the clouds, right, Dell? But you were calling me a bitch a moment ago, weren't you, Dell? Seems like cat got your tongue there. A minute ago, I was a bitch who would be scared and stuttering in person. No, Dell. You'd be my bitch, I'd be laughing at you, so would the crowds around you while you quake, with your fist balled up, praying to have the courage to punch me, and praying that you kill me with the first one.
Some rational person could mute Nathan, we would get on a lot better here, because a woman with irrational fucking...
A woman wouldn't be telling me about the clouds being ignored. You've ignored my response repeating what you've told me. Take your time, Dell. Where we're at is you telling me we're going to ignore the clouds. Do you remember? Did you need to tell me that I've got a claim again, maybe? Maybe try that little old chestnut again for the 17th time. So we're going to ignore them, are we, Dell? That's what you told us. Now you're very silent again. I don't seem to be stuttering. And if I was in person, I'd be spraying my saliva on your face while I was right up in it telling you that we're going to ignore the clouds like you've told me there, Dell. I'd be inches from your nose. We're going to ignore the clouds, are we, Dell? You seem to have gone very quiet.
Interweb gangsters. Little rich boy trying to be...
So rich boy is ignoring the clouds, is it? Is that your response to we're going to ignore the clouds? You don't seem to be reaffirming that which you've told me we're going to ignore. The clouds going up, Dell. Is that me being a rich boy? No, I'm poor, Dell. I need money. I e-beg daily. I'm not rich. Definitely not rich. No. But that's not a response to you telling me we're going to ignore the clouds, right, Dell? Hear that sound, Dell? That's the sound of inevitability. You're being exposed, Dell, as a fraud and a clown. Hello? We're going to ignore the clouds, right, Dell? It's a discussion we're getting back onto. We're going to be menly men, aren't we, Dell? And we're going to have this discussion about your claim of Earth moving up. And in that claim, for your proof, we are, according to you and your statement in the discussion that we're trying for the 18th time to get back onto, is we're going to ignore the clouds, aren't we, Dell? Right, Dell?
Can you go and get the man that you were talking about that wants to...
Definitely not you. That's not a man in front of me. It's a coward. A coward that tells me that his stature in person's going to win this argument when he stutters and balls his fist shaking because he's so angry he wants to punch me. Dell, you're a pathetic weasel, son, and I'd tell you to your face.
Who said they were going to punch you?
No, you implied that if we're in person, that means there's got to be some physicality to our encounter, Dell. Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what you were inferring. Yeah? And the reason you were inferring it, because I was asking you about your last statement about the clouds being ignored.
Wait, and we'll see if you speak to me like that.
Wait. You're going to stutter your way around the fact you're not going to get back onto track with us ignoring the clouds, right, Dell?
Keep performing for me, son. Keep it coming.
I'm getting us back on track. Your last statement in the discussion was that we would ignore the clouds going up. You're ignoring your last statement. You told it to me. No, we're not going to pay attention to those clouds now, sunshine. Did you need me to play the recording I have of you saying that back? Unlike the lies you told about the straw man false dichotomy you needed to lie about a quote you didn't have recorded, I have a recording of you, Dell, saying we're going to ignore the very devastating clouds that go up when you claim to have a quote of me saying that stuff's going to fall down because of, what was it you claimed? I can't remember the bullshit lies that you made up to make your fucking stupid claim about Earth going up. I mean, I don't know, you had to lie about it. But that's where we're at, Dell. Maybe tampons, or Plastic Man, or Rich Boy. You said we're going to ignore the clouds, Dell. You fucking idiot.
So wait, instead of him.
Just for my audience's benefit, there was a time on Ballbusters where QE said, all you need to do to Dell is point out the clouds. And that'll be the end of him.
I thought he was going to come with some proof.
No, we got to the point where we asked him about the clouds. He told me we'd ignore them, and now he's being teabagged repeatedly while he laughs and calls me Plastic Rich Boy. You're losing subs rapidly here, Dal. What are you going to do about it? You got a stupid claim about Earth moving up. And we are ignoring the clouds. Let's carry on. Go for it, son. We're all ears.
He does have a demonstration with a bottle. I told you about that. Dell, why aren't you telling us about your demonstration that you talk about all the time on your channel?
Demonstration of what, Neil?
He has a demonstration of why the Earth is moving up. Yeah, he has a demonstration. He said it was real science. So,
Yeah, but
come
it
on.
isn't. It's just a thought experiment. It's extremely similar to what these stupid astrophysicists out there say when they tell you to jump out of a window to know what gravity is. And Dell basically took the gravity away, and instead he says Earth is moving up. And that's it. It's a thought experiment. He doesn't have evidence. I tried to tell him this, and he doesn't listen.
Well, you just described the Einsteinian equivalence principle. So is this heliocentric rhetoric that is being punted to us at the moment?
No. But it is the same pattern, except it's not heliocentrist. Instead, he's presupposing Earth is like moving upward. That's the difference.
Well, Dell, instead of recording, why don't you demonstrate it for us? I'm all ears.
You can't. It's debunked.
I'm demonstrating exactly what this platform's all about. That's exactly what I'm doing.
So you're demonstrating what this platform, as in my channel's about. I know the argument, meanwhile, Neil, is defeated. He stands in defeat. It was defeated by a cloud. And his response to that defeat was to say, let's just ignore them. And then we'll move on with the discussion with the clouds being ignored as they go up. And a false quote that he lied about me saying, all things go down. That didn't happen.
Threats of violence.
Yeah. Inference.
No threat of violence at all. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that to me in person, Jimmy. You wouldn't say that if you were standing in front of me there, sunshine, because you know what would happen. You know what would happen to you, Jimmy. If we were in person, Jimmy, you know what would happen.
Exactly. You shite yourself and no say anything.
No, son. I'd be spraying saliva over you going, right, so the clouds are going to get ignored, are they, Jimmy? They're going to be ignored, right, Jimmy? And you'd clear your throat again, son. You wouldn't punch me. I wouldn't shit my pants. I'd spray my laughter all over you, inches from your stupid-looking face, while you balled up your fist and started shaking, praying that you could punch me and kill me, because you're so furious of the laughter that's coming in your face at your defeat by a cloud. Dell, a cloud defeated you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so I thought I was going to hear certain position be elucidated and validated, or at least argued for. And when you go to a platform that's giving you a chance to speak and you're not going to put your case forward and rather just be contentious with the platform you're in, then all the segues that you could have made there are lost. So, Mr. Dell, you squandered your opportunity and you wasted my time trying to find out what your point was, because you never actually made a positive point. So now I'm left with,
AI, I've been begging
I have
for
to go
it.
research it. I'm left with I have to go research it on my own rather than you just have presented it when you're the source of it in theory. So I mean,
I did try to lay it out, but I was constantly interrupted and misrepresented. So it's difficult to do that when you've got antagonistic, triggered women screaming in your.
So, is this a long, protracted silence that's come along after I've said I can show it? Is this a long, protracted silence that I'm hearing? Is this nobody talking after I've directly said that I can prove what I've said? Is this nobody talking? Yeah, this will be nobody talking at all. This will be a long, protracted silence right now. Why is nobody talking during this massive silence after I said I can prove something?
My bad. Come and have a discussion with me at my platform. We can have a rational, discussion between two human beings, because Nathan's on his bad week or something.
This is another one of those AI overlord points. He's just pointed out that every opportunity to segue onto his proof that Earth's moving up is lost when he takes the opportunity on the mic to attack the platform, like he's doing now. So you're proving AI's point then, Dell?
It's pointless me speaking because I just get interrupted every 10 seconds.
Yeah, when you start calling me a woman, I'll just shut you down and talk through you because I'm not going to tolerate it. You've had a segue, again, to prove or move on or continue with the discussion as it's been had in fragmented parts, with you saying that we should ignore the clouds in your example, but you don't want to do that. You just want to appeal to the fact that we haven't had a good enough discussion. No, I haven't been making claims for you to attack in false dichotomy. You don't like it. So you're prepared to lie about things I haven't said. That's not reasonable. That's you being a scummy liar in the discussion itself, because you can't argue anything other than your one-trick pony, false dichotomy position to make the opponent's claims about relative density look silly, so that it dilutes your outrageous claim that Earth's moving up, Dell. I can summarise the actual discussion. You, on the other hand, can interrupt me. Well, I'll talk through you calling me a woman or asking if I've got my tampon in, because that's not unreasonable. But in the long, protracted silences, directly after you saying, I will show it, then no words come out of your mouth. There's a long silence, but you're claiming you're being interrupted all the time. Yeah, okay, if you say so.
Yeah, but to the credit of women, there are women involved in the flat Earth discussion and these other ancillary topics that are actually able to make a cogent point from, this is my claim, this is my support, this is my conclusion. Very eloquently and quickly. I mean, so no reason to disparage women here.
So, as the winner, I get to make the conclusion. Yeah, Earth is not rising up. There's absolutely no evidence for that outrageous, stupid claim that Dell's making to an audience, poisoning them. Because if he had it, he'd present it. If he didn't have it, he'd do what he projected onto me by claiming I'm interrupting him all the time when I make the conclusion as the winner, which is what I am here. The winner! I won! Because I asked Dell, forget his name, he's that unimportant to me. Dave, Dell, whatever this guy's name is. He made a claim that Earth's moving up, and he doesn't have any evidence to back it. He does have constant interruptions. He does have long, protracted silences when he's got the opportunity to present those claims. He does have ad hominems and personal attacks, again, when trying to keep the claim that he's making on track. Not the false dichotomy, which has been nipped in the bud immediately. He hasn't got any evidence. Earth isn't moving up. His stupid claim has nothing to back it. That's been shown here.
Demonstrably so. He does.
Just let Nathan continue to hang himself. It's great. Keep him going.
Right, I haven't made a claim to hang myself on. I'm not making a claim that Earth moves up. You are. That's an outrageous claim that Dell has made and hasn't backed and hasn't proven and has no evidence for. So I'm not hanging myself on a hill that I'm not dying on. You, on the other hand, are dying on this, I think, Earth's moving up hill because Nathan, the plastic related to a BBC correspondent, rich boy, says I'm wrong. That's your evidence for Earth moving up so far, Dell.
Wait a minute. Nathan's rich? What the heck? What the heck?
Let Brian ask a question.
Yeah, Brian.
Dude, we never, hold on, my bad. He deserves an Oscar, let's just put it that way.
Dell, I'm going to ask you about something I saw in one of your presentations or videos. Now, I have to admit, I haven't watched majority of them, only some of them. Most of my information came through Rachie, right? Who agrees with you, right? Now, what I saw was you had a whiteboard or whatever, and you had this, like a glob, you were saying, of water. Now, you can correct me after this if I'm wrong. You can make the correction and say, no, I didn't claim that, or that's not what I said, right? But what I remember is there was a glob of water, and you said, from what I could remember, is that from the earth rising up, that causes the water then to have pressure underneath, right? Now, that's not verbatim, maybe, and causes it to be lateral, right? So the reason we have being sea level is because the water, if the earth wasn't moving up the way, then the water would just be a glob, like just a glob sitting over the top of the earth in one big glob. It wouldn't be, we wouldn't have mean sea level, we wouldn't have, just to say, water level, water horizontal. That wouldn't happen, and that only happens because the earth is moving up, causing this effect. Is that your claim?
Oh, that was in relation to a further extrapolation of a postulation based on the demonstrations, the practical physical demonstrations, which took me on that path. That's what I was trying to explain, before I was interrupted earlier. The main gambit of the thing is that there was a claim from the globe earth of downward acceleration. So gas and liquids under conditions of acceleration displace. So what I showed was physically that gas and liquid displace under conditions of acceleration. Then I dropped the bottle of water and showed that there was no displacement unless somebody's special pleading for a special type of acceleration that we don't witness on Earth. Then I jumped to the relative density disequilibrium, the motion of dense objects moving down and less dense objects moving up through a medium.
But that's not what I asked you, Dad. That's not what I asked you. What I asked you was...
Let me get to that point.
No, that's not what you're doing. You're scattergunning. You're not... I asked you a straight question. I asked you a straight question for a reason, Dad. You said you wanted a conversation. Now I'm giving it to you.
Go again.
I'm giving it. I asked you a straight question for a reason.
That is because you don't want to hear the reason why I got to that point.
No, I didn't ask you the reason why. I asked you a straight question for a reason. I asked you, is it your claim, right? Very simply, is it your claim that if the earth wasn't moving up, then water would just be a glob above the earth? Is that your claim?
Let me just finish. Right. I'm going to answer you, right?
So the implications of that claim. Yeah, but you understand the implications of that claim is that all density effects and weight are nullified. They don't exist. Nothing can have weight. The only weight on a scales can be an apparent weight caused by the upward moving of an earth moving up the way, and all things would have an equal weight. There would be no density effects.
The reason why that I backtrack is because people don't know the full context, and it's no fair for me just to answer blunt questions without laying out the context of why we're at that point, because people don't comprehend why I'm at the position I'm at. That's the point I'm trying to make. So getting back to it, the density motion, or the relative density disequilibrium motion, things going down, things going up in a medium, when you put that system into free fall, that motion ceases. And it starts again once it's connected. Once it's connected to the earth.
Before we go to that, we'll go. I'm not trying to avoid that part of the conversation. But before we go to that, you're making the point. You're after just skipping over the density and the effects of density and weight are nullified, which means they don't exist. Right.
Well,
so why does a helium balloon go up and a balloon filled with air not go up?
What do you mean? Why does a helium balloon go up? Because it's been compressed.
Why does a helium balloon go up, but a balloon filled with air does not go up?
Because there's a compression.
One does not go up.
Let me answer you. Why do you ask a fucking question and then interrupt me when I'm trying to fucking answer you?
I'm not interrupting you. I'm just trying to make sure that my question is clear. That's all I'm trying to do.
Helium moves because there's a compression of air at the surface of the Earth, which pushes it upwards.
So why doesn't the air... You're making the point there.
Hold on, Brian. You were saying there's a compression of the Earth.
Oh, is it me? Is it my turn to speak? Right. So there's a compression of air. You can recreate this when you move, you accelerate a car with a helium balloon in it, right? When you accelerate the car forward, the helium balloon moves towards the direction of acceleration because there's a compression of air towards the back, which creates the buoyant effect, pushing the helium balloon forward.
Great. So if there's a compression of air pushing the helium balloon up, right, within your claim, because we're not talking about a car now, we're talking about the helium balloon going up because the Earth is pushing air, the Earth is moving up, pushing a compression of air, which pushes the helium balloon up. Then under those circumstances, the same thing should happen to an air-filled balloon. There can't be a difference. There's no reason for an air-filled balloon to go down within your paradigm.
Air's less dense than helium.
No, there is no density. This is the point. You admitted earlier that all density effects and weight was nullified. So there is no density differential effects. So the air being more dense has nothing to do with it.
And the freefall demonstrations, these things are nullified. There is no weight. You need resistance for weight.
Oh, hang on. If an air-filled balloon and a helium-filled balloon are not behaving the same, then what you're claiming is false.
No, listen, see in the car example again, if you have a helium balloon and you have a normal balloon with normal air in it and you accelerate the car forwards, right? The normal balloon goes towards the back and the helium balloon goes towards the front.
Okay. And how does that prove Earth's moving up exactly? I'm still a bit confused.
We're having a conversation here, Nathan.
Hang on, Nathan. This is the point I'm trying to make to you, Dell. There is no density differential effects. There is no weight. I can't stand on a scales and have a different weight from you. Everything must weigh exactly the same because weight does not exist, and neither does density differential effects. So an air-filled balloon must be pushed up the way the same as the helium balloon by this compression of air going up. The two of them have to go up and go up at the same rate. And
hold on. Go ahead, Dell.
There's a density gradient. We live in a density gradient. The question is, how is that the case? That's the investigation. What is the cause of the density gradient?
Hold on, stop. Everyone stop. Hello? Okay. There's two different things that you've just put on the table, though, Dell. So you've said that there's a compression effect which hasn't been demonstrated. You haven't shown us where that's observed yet. But nevertheless, my bad, I hadn't finished summarising. So you've said that there's a compression effect, presumably from your Earth outrageous claim where it moves up, but you haven't shown that as an effect yet. Maybe you'll get to that. Nevertheless, you have now seemingly introduced the fact that we have a density gradient. Is that in lieu of showing us that Earth's rising up as a compression effect, or is it something separate from it?
I'm not continuing with my example because I've a part.
I need to clarify. We've got two different positions. One is the observable density gradient. That's not an upward pressure of Earth, but it seems I'm just getting clarity that has been substituted for a demonstration of Earth creating a pressure by moving up by way of showing that to be the case. Are you substituting Earth, your outrageous claim, and it moving up, your also outrageous claim, with the fact that we have a density gradient? Is that a substitution for that fact you haven't shown, Dell? I'm just asking. I might be wrong.
No, it's investigating the cause of why that's the case.
Sorry, what's the case? The gradient isn't Earth moving up, Dell. I'm asking if you're so you are substituting your claim that Earth moves up with a density gradient then. A density gradient isn't Earth moving up, Dell. So investigating a density gradient isn't investigating why the fuck you're making this stupid shit claim that Earth moves up. They're not the same thing. Didn't you understand that?
Here we go again. Nathan, you better just take a back seat and letting us have a discussion.
Maybe you'd like to suck on my bollocks. Well, I tell you that a fucking density gradient isn't Earth moving up, you stupid Scotsman.
What causes a density gradient?
Who gives a fuck? It's not Earth moving up, is it, Dumbo?
What causes it, Nathan?
Sorry, a density gradient isn't Earth moving up, but if you can just subtly drop in a density gradient like it is Earth moving up, then we can argue about the density gradient in lieu of Earth moving up. Earth moving up and density gradients aren't the same thing, Del.
What causes the density?
Who gives a fuck? It's not Earth moving up. Second time's a charm.
What is it then?
Who cares? It's not got any fucking relevance. That's why I asked you on your entry to this discussion what it was proving. And you didn't say it was proving Earth's moving up. It's because you seem to be under the misapprehension that you can replace Earth moving up with a density gradient.
Is the Earth station?
Is it a stutter much? G+, shut up. Whoever's opened their mic, close it.
Is the Earth stationary, Nathan?
I'm not making a claim, Dell. You're claiming Earth moves up and then substituting that claim which you are yet to demonstrate with a density gradient.
There is a density gradient. And
that's not Earth moving up, though, is it, Dumbo?
I claim that most...
I claim it's not Earth moving up.
I claim that it is.
I claim it's not Earth moving up.
Yes, it is.
Oh, really? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Dell thinks that a density gradient is Earth moving up. No, it isn't, Dell. That's just your fucking stupid, outrageous claim. No, you're confusing density gradient with a fucking stupid claim that Earth moves up. They're not the same, Dell.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, you're welcome to my teabagging. Yeah, a density gradient isn't the same thing as Earth moving up, Dell. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Stutter for me. Earth moving up is not the same as a density gradient, Dell. Yo, fuckwit. A density gradient is not Earth moving up, Dell.
That's a total fucking idiotic...
That's a stutter from a Scotsman being rolled over. That's a fact, Dell. That's a not Earth moving up, but a density gradient. They're not the same thing, you stupid idiot. I've solved your problem. Your investigation's over. You are under the stupid misapprehension that when you see a density gradient, that actually is Earth moving up and it needs explaining. Oh, well, I've solved you a lot of trouble, Dale. You don't need to carry on with your stupid, shitty investigation. I've found out where you're going wrong, sunshine. You stupidly thought that a density gradient was Earth moving up. You're just fucking thick.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I've got it on recording, sunshine. I asked you if it was the same thing, and you said yes.
No, I said it was a...
No, you said yes, Jimmy. Yeah, unlike you don't have to lie about recordings I've got. I've got you saying it's the same thing on recording, Dal, you stupid bozo.
Density gradients are...
It's not Earth moving up, sunshine. When I asked you if they were the same, you said yes. Now you're saying no, though, aren't you, Dal?
Nathan's denying reality.
Denying that a density gradient is Earth moving up? No, I'm just denying that a density gradient is your stupid idiot notion that Earth is moving up. They're not the same thing.
Density gradient?
Yeah, it's not Earth moving up. That's your outrageous claim. They're not the same thing. You don't seem to be acknowledging that. In fact, quite the contrary. You affirmed that they are the same thing. I've got it on a recording.
I said it was a cause, you fucking liar.
Oh, it's the cause. A density gradient? Well, how is that anything to investigate in terms of cause? What's it causing? Because a density gradient, that's not a cause of an effect, and if it was, you could validate it through systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis. But the cause wouldn't be Earth moving up. That's an outrageous claim, Del.
Density gradients are caused by motion.
Oh, really? So, are they? What was the experiment to validate that cause and effect supposition? Because that cause and effect supposition that you've just laid out is not Earth moving up. You see how you've just given us a supposition of cause and effect that didn't include Earth moving up, Del, and then when I pointed it out, you laughed?
Go on.
Yeah, you've just given us a supposition of cause and effect that didn't include your primary claim of Earth moving up. Cat got your tongue? Cat got, you need to stutter. You need to start your next stammery sentence, Del. Hello? That's silence. Hello?
Yeah, it's close. No.
Yeah, your cause and effect supposition didn't include Earth moving up, Del, because it isn't a density gradient.
Just ignore him, he's a fucking idiot.
You're just going to stutter? You're just going to mumble through me? Yeah, your supposition didn't include Earth moving up, Dumbo. Yeah, this is what you've got. If you're a Dell fan, just unsubscribe. Stop following him. The man's an idiot. When it's put to him that he's just proposed a supposition of cause and effect, and it didn't include his Earth moving up. He's got nothing but muttering.
It's got the bottle of water.
What you got to say for yourself, though?
If Earth
Eli,
is
shush.
already
Eli, shush.
in
Shush! What have you got to say for yourself, you stupid man?
I'm just going to sit here and eat my soup and listen to you bitching on about a lot of shite, Nathan.
No, you haven't got any proof for an outrageous claim that Earth moves up, and when you tried to validate it by giving me a cause and effect suppositional statement, also known as a hypothesis in the scientific method, not that you'd know that, you're a bonehead, it didn't include your primary claim. The Earth moves up. It didn't include it, Dell. That's where we're at. Do you need to have a bowl of soup and a tea brought to you and clear your throat 55 times and then laugh and call me plastic and rich for us to get back onto this in 25 fucking minutes' time? It didn't include your primary claim, Dumbo. That would be the Earth moves up. That outrageous, stupid shit that idiots who follow you think you've got some proof of. You wouldn't be eating soup in person, sunshine. You've done a great job, Dell. You have your soup. This is as good as it gets for you. This is your proof. Clinking your soup is what you've got to prove Earth moves up, because your suppositional statement didn't have it in. Again, if you've got nothing, I'll conclude, Dell, as the winner, the one who won this discussion we had, where you failed to prove your outrageous claim that Earth moves up. Your failure was in the fact that you think a density gradient is Earth moving up. And when I asked you to clarify if that's what you wanted, is that your need to interrupt me while I, the winner, summarise your loss? Coward. You were clinking your bowl a minute ago. Now you need to interrupt as I humiliate you, Dell. No, mate. No, you don't grab the mic at the end of my conclusion about a fuckwit Dell who's stating that Earth moves up. An outrageous claim that is only in effect because he's got a misapprehension that a density gradient is Earth moving up. He affirmed it. That was where his last interruption came, and it's where this interruption that he just gave me came. Because me pointing out that he affirmed that a density gradient is Earth moving up, and then he ascribed it as a cause, only to formulate it into a cause and effect relationship that didn't include Earth moving up, is his defeat. It's the end of his stupid shit. It's also me highlighting why he says his stupid shit. A density gradient isn't Earth moving up. Dell's just a spacker. Response from Dell. Puts bowl on table. That's his response. That's what he's got for you. If you had any confidence in him, there it's all gone. Your subscriber count's dipping as we speak, Dell. And you've got soup to eat, right? Yeah, you won't be eating that soup when I summarise. You'll interrupt and pleat and moan that I'm interrupting you the whole time when I conclude your loss here.
I think he needs to get a drink, probably.
I just like to point out that a helium balloon and an air-filled balloon within the paradigm that Dell is putting forward must behave the same. Both of them must go up because density differential effects and weight are nullified. They don't exist. Weight is only an apparent thing, and everything must weigh the same because it's only being derived from an upward moving force.
What, helium balloons or some shite? I don't know what he's fucking rattling on about.
Yeah, see, there you go. You came in, you said you wanted a conversation, and I brought a point to you in a conversation style that debunks your claim. I'll give you another point. If I have a helium balloon and I'm 10 foot off the ground and have a stone in the other hand and have a ceiling above me that's 10 foot, that's 20 foot between the floor and the ceiling. If I leave go of that stone and the helium balloon at exactly the same time, the stone will hit the floor before the helium balloon hits the ceiling. That can't happen underneath your paradigm. Because the stone isn't falling in your paradigm. The stone is sitting in free space until the air comes up to meet it in your paradigm. That's your claim. Those things can't happen. You can't have a differential in the fall and rise rate of two different things.
Fuck me. Wow. A stone would fucking hover in midair, is that what you just said?
No, you paradigm, Dale, because weight does not. Why would a stone go down if weight does not exist?
Because the stone would already be in motion and it would be decelerating.
It's not in motion.
Of course it's in motion.
No, yeah, but how will it go down at a different rate than the balloon goes up?
Because the air can't support it. It decelerates quicker than what the fucking balloon does.
That can't happen within your paradigm. There is no reason for the stone going down. There's no reason for the stone going down. They have to just wait for the earth to come up to meet it. The two things have to happen at an equal rate. And if I have an air-filled balloon, instead of the helium balloon, the air-filled balloon must go up while the stone goes down at an equal rate.
It's such an infantile way to think about it. You're so infantile in your reasoning. If the Earth's in motion, right, everything within the Earth's in motion with the fucking Earth. So when I pick an object up and I'm standing on the ground holding it, I'm moving with the Earth, the stone's moving with the Earth, and when I let the fucking stone go, it immediately begins to decelerate.
Can anybody name that fallacy? Hold on, Brian. Hold on, just from a panel. Dun, 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 dun. Name that fallacy in one.
Reification.
Close. Not quite. It was an affirming the consequent. So, if if Earth is moving up, then Q. Stone behaves thus. Stone behaves thus, therefore Earth's moving up. It's a begging the question fallacy on its face value, but it's more complex because it's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. Starts with begging the question, started with the statement. Yeah, this is the winner summarising, Dell. It's the winner summarising again.
I'm still speaking.
Yeah, you're just stuttering through my conclusion, you fuckwit. Shut up. Yeah, you start with the premise that if Earth is moving. So if your assumption that Earth is moving up, your outrageous claim that you haven't proven. So you start with the fallacy of begging the question, if Earth is moving up. You haven't proven that, Dell. What you have done is shown that when you describe density gradients, that is Earth moving up. It isn't. Therefore, not a reason to say, if Earth is moving up, then whatever the fuck I do with these stones makes it prove Earth's moving up that I assumed in the first instance, when you said, if the Earth is moving. That's a begging the question fallacy, followed by an affirming the consequent, and then a conclusion from the winner interrupted by a cunt. A cunt who's interrupting me right now. That'll be you, the loser, interrupting the end of the conclusion of the fallacy you used. That would be an affirming the consequent fallacy, Dell. You don't have to bark and bleat and pull your tampon out while I'm summarising your stupid fallacy. You're a dumbo. You need to sit down, shut the fuck up, and listen to your fallacy being laid out to my fucking audience. Okay, Dell, you stupid twat? You used a fuckwit fallacy, Dell. Shut up and I will conclude it. Okay?
Wasn't it a claim?
Yeah, no, you affirmed the consequent after begging the question that Earth was moving, you stupid shithead. That's what you did. I'm pointing it out to you. You just don't like it. Dumbos don't like their stupidity pointed out. I don't. I don't. You're done, Sunshine. Jabbering through the conclusion that you used in affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. You're done jabbering through that? Embarrassing that it is for you and the people who follow you.
You just shush a wee minute, right?
You just suck on my balls, Dell. That's what you do, Sunshine. I'm the winner. You used a fallacy, making you a loser. You didn't prove the Earth moves up. You assumed it when you said, if the Earth is moving, then fucking rock's thrown and rock's thrown, therefore Earth moving. That's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy, used by fuckwits. Stupid people. That's you, Dell. The stupid person using a fuckwit fallacy. In this case, affirming the consequent. That would be you, a fuckwit, using a fallacy and it being pointed out by me.
Your Narnia magic is dispelled.
Your Narnia fallacy doesn't work here, Dell. Nobody's buying it, you stupid shithead. You're just losing repeatedly.
Stationary Earthers are fucking retarded.
Right.
Air-filled balloons must behave the same as helium balloons. They both must go up at an equal rate within your paradigm. And the stone falling is not falling. That's the point. It's not falling. Albert Einstein thought this out a lot more than you did, obviously, when he came up with the exact same nonsense.
Wow.
The stone is sitting in free space until the air comes up to meet it. So the balloon can't rise faster than this or slower than the stone will appear to fall. That can't happen. An airplane can't take off, Dell, within your paradigm. There's another one. An airplane can't take off, and it can't hold an altitude. Yes, Dell. You should be laughing because it's fucking stupid. You're making stupid claims.
Listen.
I guarantee you haven't got a clue about how airplanes fly.
So the only alternative we've got is that point you just made. That point you just made there is absolutely incredibly laughable about planes flying, honestly. But anyhow, the only other alternative you've got is a stationary Earth where objects are moving towards the Earth. The trouble you're going to have is that you're going to need a mechanism for that you don't have.
Sorry, hold on, Brian. Sorry. So the only alternative is a stationary Earth where objects move towards the Earth. Correct, Dell?
That's you stuttering like a bitch while I ask you about a cloud. I said that's you stuttering like a bitch while I ask you about that cloud there, Dell. Do you want to tell me to ignore it again? Here's that long protracted silence. Cat got your tongue, Jimmy. So, on a flat earth false dichotomy fallacy that you're about to launch into, where all things go down. Again, this time it's a flat earth stereotyping false dichotomy fallacy rather than a lie about a quote I haven't used. Yeah, you're not going to get to do this little one-trick pony there. Have you only got this fallacy, Dell? Is it the only way you can argue this in false dichotomy? Is it the only way you get to argue your stupid, shitty claim? And by interrupting people as they ask you questions about your outrageous claim about Earth moving up. Is that your only MO? Put it in false dichotomy and then talk through people while they ask you about the false dichotomy one-trick pony that you are.
Potential energy, Nathan. Potential energy.
So is this back to the lie about a quote? Have you got that recording? You've had plenty of time to go and get it, you lying fuck. You're just a lying cunt, Dell. And I've exposed you to my audience as a liar. Because you will never provide that quote. You don't have a recording. I do have a recording of you saying that relative density or the density gradient is Earth moving up. I've got you saying that on a recording, Dell.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Yes, sunshine. This is recorded.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. Everyone else shut up. Sorry, Dell. Do you want to deny that a density gradient or the fact that we have density in a gradient in visible effect, do you want to deny that that's Earth moving up? You said I don't have a recording of it, so do you want to explicitly deny that that's not the case then, Dell?
Don't listen to it before you make a bigger ass of yourself, you cretin.
Sorry, we were talking about recordings that you don't have when you lie versus my recording of you saying that density gradient is Earth moving up, and now there's that interruption. Projection much? Need to project your way through it with an interruption, Dell? I'm trying to clarify that which you are recorded saying versus the lies you said about stuff I haven't said. One-trick pony, false dichotomy.
See? We shall see, Nathan. We shall see, son.
I'm just hearing you muttering, Dell.
I'm enjoying.
Stuttering as well, yeah. Muttering and stuttering. Right, Dell, yeah. Unfortunately, you're not denying or affirming that a density gradient is Earth moving up, even though I've already got you on a recording saying it is.
Oh, listen to it, you fanny.
Sorry, if you're watching this and you're a fan of Dell, know what's happening. He's on the ropes.
No.
So do you affirm or deny a density gradient is Earth moving up, Dell? Tick or cross? Just a chuckle, eh? He's getting rolled over. Just a liar, just a scumbag with no proof getting rolled over by me while I laugh at him in the discussion.
Yeah, Dale, I'm sorry, but whatever respect I had for you beforehand, you're losing it rapidly. You're not able to be honest.
Well, I cope.
One last chance, Dell. So,
Density gradient is Earth moving up. Yes? There you go. Now, as the winner, rustling of paper and chuckles, gets to shut up while I conclude. Dell has no evidence to back his baseless assertion that Earth is moving up. The reason he makes this stupid nonsense baseless assertion is based on his misapprehension, as declared here, that a density gradient is Earth moving up. It isn't. And arguing about density gradients isn't proving that Earth moves up, because density gradients aren't Earth moving up. That's just a stupid idiot who thinks that they are. It's been pointed out to him. He's fought and interrupted and fought his way past this nonsense that he's got a very severe misunderstanding about. Density gradient, you say? That is not Earth moving up, Dell. Now on your pop, stop wasting people's time, and for all of you watching, more importantly, the actual conclusion, why are you watching? You have wasted a lot of your time with this man, because when push came to shove, he had bowls of soup, cups of tea, and rustling bags. That's what he actually had to prove his stupid, baseless assertion that Earth's moving up. It's not a density gradient. It's a stupid claim by a stupid man who has been humiliated here for making such a stupid claim.
The honest people who get really much
It's a presupposition. It's a presupposition. That's what it is. You're presupposing this thing is happening to Earth, and that's your consideration as to why things are the way they are. But people here on the panel, including Ryan, have tried to point out to you that it breaks certain laws. It doesn't actually hold up.
Let me correct you quick, Armin. It's not a presupposition. It's a conclusion that the practicality takes you to that leaves you with no other conclusion. It's not a presupposition, son.
Yeah, it is. It's affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. You said if Earth is moving, then you gave an example with rocks. Then you gave the example with rocks and concluded that therefore Earth was moving. It is fallacious. I have pointed it out. You just didn't understand because you are too stupid to understand that you have affirmed the consequent, Dell. It's a fallacy.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, is that your response, son? No, I haven't.
Aye?
Well, yeah, you're a fuckwit. Like, really thick. Go and look up affirming the consequent. Now, I understand these might be new words to you, and that you're stupid, and that you just going, no, I haven't affirmed the consequent, is your rebuttal.
Nathan the mimic.
That's not a rebuttal.
You've copied me for years, you fucking weak.
Right, that's not a rebuttal. That's called a hand wave dismissal fallacy. No, it isn't. Isn't a rebuttal, Dell.
The whole act is a fucking mimic of me, you absolute plastic knob cheese, you.
So, knob cheese, plastic, this isn't a rebuttal. You have affirmed the consequent. If Earth is moving, as you declared, then you give a stupid example. Your stupid example, therefore, Earth moving up. It is an affirming the consequent fallacy. Plastic knob cheese isn't a rebuttal.
Nathan, have you looked at the material on my platform to know what the position I have and why?
No, I don't need to. You came to me, stupid idiot, and told me, and I've heard it. You presented it to me and told me to ignore the clouds, Dell. Humiliating, because I now, as a consequence of you saying, no, we're going to ignore the clouds, means I get to tell your subscribers to unsubscribe immediately with total justification while you're here. I get to do that because of the fuckwit stupid nonsense that you have said when you came to me proactively to present your baseless stupid assertion that Earth moves up, because you misunderstood what a density gradient is. You thought a density gradient was Earth moving up, making you a fundamental fuckwit. I'm here to point that out to my audience. You then tried to justify your fundamental fuckwittery that a density gradient is somehow Earth moving up by affirming the consequent and saying that if Earth moves up, then rocks and stupid shit thrown out of car windows and helium balloons in cars. Therefore, Earth moving up. That's an affirming the consequent fallacy. You are a spastic knob cheese. Isn't a rebuttal.
He contradicted himself with the rock. He also used the word determined acceleration incorrectly.
Nathan's not looked at the practical tests. Nathan knows fuck all about what.
Nathan hasn't looked at a practical test. You haven't given me a practical test. You said you would show us, and then there was a long protracted silence. You are here proactively presenting this shit to me. If you want to present a practical test, Jimmy, then fucking present one.
You're a wordsmith. You've got fuck all practical. You're based everything on fuck all.
So show me, if you've got a practical test, and it's about natural science, then we'll assess the validity of your test, Dell.
Nathan's done no practice.
So it's back to the ad homs. Nathan's not done this. He said he's got a test. I've told him to show me, and we're back to what, 20 minutes of obfuscation while he doesn't? What's the test?
Look at them.
Hello? Observe natural phenomena, please. What are we testing? Yeah, if you're subscribed to him, just hit the unsubscribe button, because this is what he's got. Oh, fucking sure, plastic knob cheese, what I've got, fucking tests. Okay, show me your test. Long silence. No, you're a fucking plastic Jimmy. Show me your test. Long silence. What's your natural phenomena? Long, protracted silence. Just unsubscribe from me. This is twat. She's got nothing.
Well, I'd like to point out that he admitted at the start of my attempt to have a conversation with him that all density differential effects were nullified and weight was nullified within his claim, so they don't exist. And then he tried to use the density of a stone and it decelerating, you know, as it was some kind of a rebuttal to why a stone will fall faster than a helium balloon rises within his paradigm. And not even realizing that he doesn't even understand what the word acceleration means. If the Earth was accelerating up the way, then next week everything would weigh more than it does now. And in a month's time, everything would weigh more than that. It should be a constant velocity, not acceleration.
There's no claim of acceleration. Nobody's claiming that the Earth's accelerating.
Yeah, you
are, you stupid spastic. You said that the Earth is a pushing force. You are the one claiming that Earth is pushing against things as it moves up. Now you're denying your own stupid fuckwit outrageous claim. You claim Earth moves up and pushes on shit. You stupid moron. That is your primary fucking claim. What a clown. So if anybody thought Dell was claiming that Earth's moving up pushing on shit, he's just denied the basis of his own bloody claim.
And he gave no answer to how the air-filled balloon is not going up with the helium balloon. Nothing about how an airplane takes off or holds an altitude. All of these things are just ignored, like the cloud, just ignored. When I asked him about the airplane, right? Hang on, Neil, hang on. He said he came in for a conversation. When I put a point to him that he didn't like, which was the airplane, he just laughed. When I put the point to him about the air-filled balloon, he tried to claim density when he had just admitted that density differentials and weight was nullified within his claim. He's contradicting himself.
You know that I've came here.
I tried to have the conversation with you, Dell.
Hold on,
and you
Brian. Brian. No, hold on. He wants to talk about his journey to this platform.
Please, you're welcome to come and join me for a conversation where we can be uninterrupted and we don't have all this crap. We can ask questions. You come and speak to me then.
Yeah, go to Jimmy's channel where you don't get to interrupt him or ask questions, as he's just declared. What, on your own turf, nobody asks you any questions, right?
What's the day about you don't get a wee bitch screaming over the top of them?
Sorry, a bitch asking you about what? The fact that you say density gradients are Earth moving up.
There's a challenge, right?
No, you didn't justify why that would be the case. It's not. Density gradients aren't Earth moving up, Dell. I thought I clarified that for you. What I got in response when I clarified that for you is you calling me a lot of names. Because that's really all you've got. It's why I'm suggesting your subscriber base unsubscribe from you.
I don't care about subscribers, Nate.
Good. Well, he doesn't care about you. If you're watching this shit being poisoned by it, he doesn't care about his claim. He'll relinquish that as soon as he seems to be losing. You know, in terms of, I'm not claiming there's a force pushing anything. Yeah, only, an hour ago? Yeah, Earth's pushing up because it's moving up. Yeah, he doesn't care. He'll relinquish it. He's just a double-speaking clown that's leading you down a garden path. Unsubscribe from him. Just don't hang around with him. Let him jabber his stupid nonsense to himself.
I unsubscribe from me and subscribe to Nathan because that's his whole fucking gambit.
Yeah, I'm here to get subscribers when they realise that I'm talking truth and not peddling nonsense about Earth moving up because I think that a density gradient is Earth moving up. No, I do think people should subscribe. They should give me money. They should support me. They should join my Patreon. They should give me PayPals because I offer truth. You offer stupid shit that you have literally in the last 10 minutes denied. I feel ashamed for your audience because you have denied the very premise of your own claim when you said, I'm not claiming anything's pushing up with the force. Yeah, Earth. You denied your own claim. You're a shyster, a charlatan, a fraudster, a scammer. Nobody should be subscribed to you, Dell. And you're right, they all should subscribe to me, where they'll get truth, unlike the stupid, shitty lies and tactics that you're employing here.
Ryan, would you like to have a discussion with me on my channel?
Do I fuck? No! Do you think I want to go and talk to you about your stupid shit on your stupid, shitty channel? No, I'm telling people to get the fuck away from you as quick as possible. You think I want to come to you proactively, Jimmy? No, you came to me because I'm the authority here. You came and sat in front of me to offer your stupid nonsense and have it ripped to shreds. You want to, what, ask me to come over to you? What, to do what? I haven't got a claim to offer to you, Dell. To do what?
Fine.
What do you think I'm going to come on your show for? I'm not making any claims in this regard. It's only you, the bonehead, with Earth moving up. That's why you're
too weak
here.
to come to my channel, Nathan.
I don't need to. I've got nothing to claim to you. Are you deaf?
You're too weak for me, son. Brian.
Are you deaf? I don't have any claims to make. You do. You've come here and made them, and they've lost badly.
You going to address your claims when
I haven't got any. Is he fucking deaf? Is he stupid? Is he literally insane? I don't need to come to your channel. I've got nothing to defend and present to you. Are you deaf?
Objects move towards the Earth because you give them potential energy. Is your fucking claim, you lying?
Sorry, is that the quote that you were going to play a recording of? Do you think that you saying your lies about a quote I haven't made down your mic really close is going to work? Yeah, I like how imitation's the highest form of flattery, Dell. Yeah, I like how you imitate me. It amuses me how you like to be like me. Yeah? Get that proximity effect while you lie about a quote I haven't said. I didn't say those words, Dell. You haven't got a quote, you haven't got a recording. I do have you saying that you think density gradients is Earth moving up, though. I do have that recorded.
Brian, is Nathan your controller? Brian, is Nathan your controller or what?
No, he's not my controller.
Was it so important you needed to say it twice?
Because you and Nathan and everyone else are talking. No, I would not like to waste my time having a conversation with you because I tried to have one and you immediately contradicted yourself. You immediately... Hang on, leave me finish. Leave me finish.
No.
This is another reason why... See, there you go. Why would I go to your channel and waste an hour or two wasting my time with someone who contradicts themselves? They don't learn anything about anything and they want to make claims that are outlandish.
Terrified.
Why would I waste my time?
Terrified.
You terrified me about it. I asked you, and you admitted that all density differential and all weight was nullified. Then when I asked you about an air-filled balloon, you said density. Why would I waste my time for 2 hours with that?
Yeah.
And by the way, Dell, just so you know, a couple of years ago, I brought out a whole hour-and-a-half presentation about what creates our density gradient. And I know more about it now than I did then. You obviously don't know what creates. You obviously don't know what creates a gas pressure gradient, and that's obvious.
Brian, can you send me an email of that video that you made?
Yeah, it's just on my channel. It's what's the name of it? What I can do, can I link it in one of your videos?
Just
as a comment.
What's the name of your channel?
Brian's Logic.
Well, with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ Panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams. Hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!